Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take 1 scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you can take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG fam? We have one of the best shows of all time on PTG. Breaking into episode 151, we have none other than Oliver Lang back on for a 3.5-hour episode talking about all things paintball fashion, all things life, paintball growth, personal, you name it. Paintball culture, personal development, everything PTG stands for. We just had one of the most banger episodes of all time. So without wasting any more breath on here, we're going to hop in the show. Hope you guys enjoy. Can't wait to see you in there. All right, let's go.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, we have the Grand Wizard himself, the numero uno, the head honcho, one of the greatest people on the planet, and the undoubtedly the greatest paintball player of all time, the GOAT of GOATs, the King GOAT. He is on the show. Oliver Lang, thank you so much for gracing us here, man. We have the utmost love and respect for everything that you've done in this game, in this world, and obviously with the styles you're kicking out these days and the fresh dance moves. So thank you for joining us. We love you, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah,
dude.
real quick. He's on the show, baby. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. How are
Langer.
you?
Dude, it's so good to be here with you guys. You guys are 2 of my favorite people, and I love what you guys are doing, man. You guys are just doing such a service for the paintball community and getting together and, you know, sharing this wisdom. And I'm almost like nervous, you know. I'm almost like, oh, how's this gonna go? What's gonna happen, you know? but I know
No way.
it's gonna end up great. And yeah, man, you guys are excellent, dude. It's so cool to watch you guys evolve from young lads into these blossoming men. And then I'm also excited to see what happens into the future, and that's all kind of what I want to get into and talk about in this show.
Dude, we got the game from the Godfather. You know what I mean? Like we apprenticed under the Grand Wizard, the one who laid
Grand
the
Wizard.
foundation, for so many paintball players to come through. So honestly, the honor is all ours for having this time with you. We appreciate it, and we know the entire PTG world community appreciates it. And we can't wait to pick your brain on some awesome things that you're working on and everything going on in paintball, because it is a lot of fun, man. And you know that I see you in your new pictures with the new paintball markers that you have, and they're looking pretty stylistic.
Those are futuristic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all about the future. We got to somehow go into the future, and we got to come and take the good stuff from the past, leave the bad stuff behind, and then just kind of meld it together. And that's how we're going to create our realities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's some good back there. There's some really good back there. And then there's, what's to come is unknown, but we have to use our imagination and creativity to go and seek it out.
Yeah, man. And Eggman.
You make a good point, Tyler. There's this great book. It's by the man's eluding my name. His name's eluding me at the moment, but it's called Mastery. And I read this book years ago, and actually it changed my life in a sense. And a lot of this, Robert Greene's his name. A lot of the books that he's written are incredible. And, actually a lot of them they're essentially personal development books, but they're very, very well written, and they'll teach you a lot. And actually I got onto him, Mr. Yu. He showed me this book, and it was called
Mr. Yu.
Yeah, it was called, he read it a long time ago. It was something about it was kind of like how to get chicks anyways. But he had written it,
Game?
and then I kind of, no, it wasn't the game, although we should go into that a little bit, because there's something about that too that we need to touch in on. But let's stay on. The Mastery was a book by Robert Greene, and if you haven't read it or you don't know Robert Greene, you should check him out. But one of the first things he says in the book is, if you want to become a master at something, whatever it is, you have to apprentice a master. So like you said. And I apprenticed masters in my career. I came through that first wave of people who I would consider kind of masters of the sport, and then I was kind of maybe the only one really, though, in a weird way. Like, because Ryan and Alex, they didn't really get the downloads from Shane and the Ironman guys, and I did. And then I don't know how it worked is how it worked. But you guys are now going to be those next masters that are carrying the torch within the sport of a sport of paintball, and leading it into the new generation.
Ollie, who were some of those forefathers for you, the big role players in your development as a young man, and knowing that you wanted to be the best in the world at paintball? Who kind of guided you and helped you along that path?
Well, I had many, but I mean, it's like the path is so long and so wide, and also so narrow and short, but it's like, you kind of get the people will come into your life when you need them for what you need them for. And even kind of being on a spiritual journey, it's really interesting because there'll be a teacher or someone that I'm not so resonant with. And then all of a sudden, I hear him or listen to her or read something from it. And then I'm like, wow, this is so resonant. So it was like my being wasn't ready for it when maybe I'd first seen it or heard it. And then, you get what you get, and then, it was good for that time, and then you go on to the next teacher. So for me, obviously Brad Mon was one of the first, because he was just the nicest, and he was also the most available and approachable. And Brad was really fucking cool, and he was really fucking good, actually.
Brad is the man, dude.
Yeah. So he was probably one of my first ones. And I think, of course, Shane Pastana, but Shane gave me, Shane opened my heart is what he really did. He taught me how to get into contact with that thing. That's something that's really rare for anybody to ever help you do, because actually that's an inside job. You got to do that yourself. But to have that knowing and that ability that you can contact your heart and get involved with that thing that's beating for you every day, effortlessly, nonstop, tirelessly, every day of your life for your whole entire life. Like, you think you're sleeping, but that thing's still working, and there's an intelligence about it that's like, beyond the beyond, which is, a whole nother podcast itself. But,
that's this one. That's this podcast. We're here to crack it wide open.
And then there's guys like, there's people that just had style and like grace and elegance. Definitely the Soya had a type of style that was like, holy shit, like I want to play like that, like that guy's really something, So, and then I had like, there's so many different ones that come along and give you, even some just give you a nugget. Rob Strodinger gave me a nugget one day, and he was always really nice, and he was really cool, and he had an amazing style. He was definitely one of those guys that kind of grabbed me for momentarily, and helped me on to the next. So it's a continuous journey, and I'm sure that there's players that you guys have that, or players that are listening to this that are like, all about Ryan Greenspan, or maybe they're all about you, Marcelo, or all about you, Tyler. And that's cool. But honestly, you gotta keep moving, you gotta keep moving, because if you really want to be super rounded, especially in this game, and again, the game is a game, but there's life that's also a game. So it's like, man, you can just get this from that person, and that's enough, like, okay, Marcelo does it like this, he sees it like this, Tyler does it like this, like fucking be the best of all of it, and take the gold from all of them, and then that's how you're going to become a really, really well-rounded player, like an exceptionally well-rounded player. Because if you're just trying to be like Tyler and play how Tyler plays, well, that's cool, Tyler's fucking really good, but there's you can take from this guy also, and you can get from him, and maybe Tyler does that too, maybe it's unconscious, or maybe you do it consciously, I don't know, but so it's like, if you're a player up and coming, like, hey, man, look at everybody. That's one of the first things I say in the dynamics of practice, the little online tutorial I gave. I said, look, who's your favorite player, and watch him. Like, watch how he holds his gun. Like, watch how he fills his tank. Watch how he fills his pack. Like, watch how he does everything. Now, don't be like him, because actually you limit yourself if you're just trying to play like Justin Rabikoff. You're just, you're putting yourself into a box. It's like, be like Justin Rabikoff, be like Marcelo, be like Greenspan, but actually be who you are, and figure out that and carve that out, because that's the dope shit, That's like the super amazing players who really turn themselves into who they're meant to be playing like, which is themselves. Like, you can't play like me, I mean, you can try, and there's some good in that, but you can't play like me, because only I can play like me, And the way that I played like me is because I took from him, and I took from him, I even took from you guys, Okay, Tyler does that shit, I could do that, So, it's
Oliver, I can tell that you are on such a creative and focused mission right now, just by the words that you're speaking. Anybody listening right now, these words are so valuable for becoming that next level in your life, and the best artists in the world, like you, they take these great little pieces from everybody, like you're talking about. Even like, if you want to talk about real artists, the best actual artists in the world, they all did that. The Picassos, the Rembrandts, all these artists, they were all going back and forth and using styles and looking here, looking there, and just throwing it all together to have the most thought-provoking, and intrinsically like valuable styles, out there on the field, their field, which was the canvas, which is crazy.
Picasso's his famous quote is, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
That's right. Yeah. And then even better, he made a carving out of that on stone. And then this is just fantastic. Then Banksy took the same carving and wrote the same quote and quoted Picasso, and then crushed out Picasso's name and wrote Banksy. And I was like,
I love that.
He took it to another level. He not only plagiarized it, but he made it even better. And so again, that's the thought for him. Make it better. And that's
I
go ahead. Sorry. Not
Yeah,
be too much.
I sometimes, sit back and I try to think about myself and how I do things, on whether it's on the field or in life or business or with PTG or with friends. And I have this strange thought sometimes that maybe I'm not creative at all. Like, I don't know how many just truly original ideas I've had. It's weird if you really think about that concept. So much of it is learned from others, or, little pieces of inspiration. So it's like so difficult to have a truly original idea that has never been influenced by anything. Like, I guess what constitutes a truly original idea? If there's some inspiration from somewhere for something, is it really your own original thought? Like, you can kind of go down that rabbit hole. But everything that I do, whether it's in my play style or in business or in just even how I approach, my relationships and friendships, it's all inspired by things that I appreciate out of other people, other people that I've learned from, that I say, you know what, I really like how this person does that. I really like how this person talks to their mom. I really like how this person, deals with adversity. I really like how this person goes to the gym and works out. I take pieces from all the people that I admire, and that's kind of my makeup, and I sit back sometimes and go, is that good or bad? I'm not really sure.
Well, they say there's a saying that says there's nothing new under the sun, and everything that was, ever is, will be here now, and it's like it's always available. So I think everything's a little bit of an adaptation, and it's a twist. It's like I watch a lot of breakdancing videos, totally. And it's like I see these guys, and I'm like, nah, this guy did that, but at the same time, it's not this guy doing that. It's another guy doing it. Everybody has a little bit of a unique style. So it's all brand new and it's all borrowed, and that's how, if you look at any adaptation of anything, like, it's just, people just keep evolving it, they keep getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And, and again, that's enough too, like, even just a little bit of an evolution in something that you do, a little adaptation, even if it might be borrowed, like even art, go back to that. It's like, shit, man, if you can draw like Rembrandt, Jeez. Exactly like Rembrandt, like, good on you, just sign your signature a little bit different, and it's a whole new painting,
Dude, I love your art. If you haven't seen Oliver's art, go over to his Instagram at Oliver Whitecloud. And I do want to ask you, how did you come up with the name? What's the significance behind the account name?
Well, what happened was, there was a moment there in kind of social media world where I was kind of getting bombarded a lot. Like, a lot of people were asking to be my friend, and that was super nice and flattering. But at the same time, it's like, in the beginning I accepted people, and then all of a sudden, like, my whole feed was like sewage full of like a bunch of people that I didn't know, and like their world and their life, which is kind of nice, I guess, in a weird way. And I was like, yeah, I just need a little anonymity in my social media world between my real life and who I am, and then this character named Ollie Lang, who plays Paintball, which is another part of my character as Oliver Lang. And anyways, I was reading a book by Osho, and it's called The Way of the White Cloud. And the Way of the White Cloud is like, it's always above, but it's never conquering. It's everywhere. It's got no place to go. It moves swiftly and softly and elegantly. It's a nice shade on a hot day. It's a little bit of drizzle and rain when the earth is parched, So
Ooh, let them know.
The whole white cloud thing is just a poetic adaptation of Osho's book, and then somehow it seems a little bit Native American. And I was talking to somebody about this last night, but it's like, I don't know. I just have this Native American kind of aspect to me, being born in America, but never even have any really affiliation or connection or touch with anything Native American. But for some reason, we're born in this country where these really great wise men were, and women were, and lived and proliferated for quite a long time. And I don't know, part of my soul has a little bit of Native American in it. And I guess I'm Native American, right? I'm born in America. So the white cloud is kind of also an ode to that lineage of wisdom of Native American heritage. Yeah. So it was a win-win.
That is spectacular.
It was a
That's
win-win all around.
spectacular.
I mean,
I was just,
And you
I
kind of
don't
have.
go. I don't go by Oliver Whitecloud. Like I would never introduce myself as Oliver Whitecloud. My name is Oliver Lang, and I'm very proud of my name, and I love my name, and I love my other ancestral heritage. But I feel like on the social media platforms that are, however you want to look at them, it's nice to have a little bit of separation between the real me and, who I show myself as into the world.
I was
Yeah,
just
I
thinking
like
about it. This is the O show as well. So isn't that insane? This is the O
This is
show.
the O show.
O shows all around.
Yeah,
And
and the Osho is the sound of the ocean. So when the
boom.
waves crash, and it's he's got a whole story on how he changed his name to Osho, which you can go look into, but it's interesting.
I love Osho. I read first in the morning, and there's also one for before bedtime that he has, and he's got a multitude of other books. And what I love so much about the first in the morning and the one before bed is it's just these little nuggets. So you could resonate on one nugget for a night or 2 nights or 3 nights,
Nice.
and then just slowly move through it or go read 10 pages of them if you want. And it's just a great way to, like you talked about, downloading yourself with really good words, because essentially it's all about the words that we choose to sit on. It's all about the choice and the verbiage that we choose to project outwardly from our mind and into the world in conversations and how we move about, in life. So having things like Osho, having things like art and dance, you got to go to Oliver's Instagram and watch this man dance. He breaks it down. Watch him do his art. He's living life to the fullest. It's just uncomparable.
Bro, but you really tap into something there, and we can go into that more. But yeah, it's about the words. In the beginning there was the word logos. Like a logo. You get to play the game podcast logo. I got the Hormesis logo. These things are symbols that are speaking to us. And words are swords. However you want to look at it, it's a very similar term. Words can slice you and dice you, or words can open your heart and melt you. So what are the words that we're using, and most importantly, what are the words that we're thinking to ourselves on a daily basis that we're living in? And these words, I didn't understand math. I still don't fully understand math. I never really was able to conceptualize it in the mathematics that they were teaching us. But the language of God is essentially numbers. Angles. Angle is an angel. If you look at the Hormesis logo, it's actually an angel. It's a seraphim angel. And angles, numbers, words, they all correlate. And we're living in, this, Tyler, we're living in a toroidal field that's an energetic bubble that's all around us. And what we're thinking is resonating within there and bouncing back at us.
Projections.
So if we're able to switch what we're thinking, how we think about ourselves, how we think about life, how we think about the things that we're doing, that's the big algorithmic change, that occurs, and that will shift you into, what would be a new version of you, or a new paradigm of yourself, or a new paradigm of this earth, and your reality, so to say. So, we're living in this thing, and what we're thinking makes a big difference, So when we pick up books like Osho and we read them, especially first thing in the morning when we're in the alpha state, or we're about to go to bed at night and we're in that a little bit deeper alpha, almost into a theta, these things carry on with us and they go into our dream world. And I don't know, the dream world's, we don't really understand it, but there's something that's happening in there that's correlated to this one, and that's somewhat affecting this one, and there's something that's happening over there on the other side that maybe is the real one. I don't know, but it's like things have happened to me over there that have felt more real than what happens to me here.
Yeah.
So anyways, the point is to get in there, there somehow. And a great way to get in there is by the words and things you read. I mean, if you're watching news or CNN or like any of these like really scary movies before you're going to bed, those are the words you're bringing into this very sensitive moment. If you wake up in the beginning of the day, like today, I never really check my phone in the morning at all, but obviously due to our time situation, I looked at the phone, and I just, we've been speaking on Instagram, and I look at Instagram to go message you, but then there was something like instantly that was kind of threatening on Instagram. Someone had posted something, I don't even know who they were, and I was like, "Ooh, gosh, like, how do I see that at this moment of my softness of the early morning, new day, a new life?" And all of a sudden I see like some sort of bomb explosion, and it's threatening. So you got to really be mindful about what you're taking in. And that's kind of and what you're repeatedly saying to yourself. And if you want to become a goat, man, goats don't talk bad about themselves, right? Goat's not over there telling himself how shitty he is and how ugly he is, how stupid he is. A goat's up there, he's boosting himself up. He's boosting himself up. He's setting those algorithms up, and essentially he's calling in the other folks, the other part of the team or the other part of the herd that are going to do the same thing and boost him up, and he's going to boost them up, and then now you got a winning team, or you got a winning family, or you got a winning job, whatever that might be, So it's, it's so cliche to say like, good vibes or positivity, but there's some truth in it, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's massive.
What's it like being on a team with somebody who's like a dark cloud, or what's it like being on a team with somebody who's full, Tyler's one of the most full of light guys I've ever met. Just being around him makes me a better player, being around him gives me that, exudes that confidence with me that I can do whatever and he can do whatever, and we're going to win this thing. Right. It's like those are the folks I want around in my life. And if you don't have a Tyler in your life, be the Tyler, become him, and then magnetize the other people into your life that are, vibrating on that same level.
That's right, man. Dance. It's like a dance. It's a collaboration between the words, between, the arts, between yourself and your thoughts and the people around you. It really is a dance. So that's why we started the whole play mantra, like be playful. And, there's so many things in this world that may try to throw you off track, and that is life, and that is very real. And, you have to have an open heart and move through life because it's very delicate. It is a delicate process, and you have to care about all of these different facets with all of your heart, and just play and be playful and enjoy yourself, because there's so many miracles happening in every single moment, whether you're conscious of it or not. This experience that we're able to have is so unique and so such a gift. It really is. We're just so lucky, so the play
dancing.
mantra, keep
dancing. Yeah. Dancing is like, honestly, we live in a such a twisted world right now, where if I've got brain cancer, I'm more susceptible to go to the doctor and have them cut open my head and pull out the brain cancer, than maybe going and dancing and going into dance therapy for 6 months. It's like, if I say, hey, you've got brain cancer, we'll go dance every day for 6 months for 2 hours, right? People will be like, oh, that's crazy, that's stupid. Let's just cut open my head and get this thing out, And it's like, to me, that's crazy, right? So the dance allows you to enter into your body and to feel your body and to break away any of this rusty, crusty, stagnant stuff that's in you. Once you can actually really move and you're flexible. If you're flexible, you've got a flexible mind, and that's how I see it. And that's like the basis, the most simplest form of this. If you have a flexible mind, you are flexible. If you are flexible, you'll have a flexible mind. If you're rigid and you're hurting yourself all the time, it's because your mind is rigid and you're hurting yourself all the time, And if you're getting sick all the time, it's because you're, again, back to the words, you're thinking about the sickness, or thinking about the fear, or thinking about the injury, and it's like, man, we got this. Dude, this thing is amazing. This thing is amazing. Like, talk about top notch intelligence. Like, this thing is beyond even our recognition of what it can do and what's capable of it. And now modern day science is starting to find out how unbelievable it is and how regenerative it is. Literally, we cut ourselves and we heal. That's a miracle, right?
It's like a superhero.
You break your bone and you heal. Yeah, exactly. But how fast is the difference, right? Because the mental mind, I've never broke anything. I've never hurt myself at all. I've twisted my ankle, You know, I've had a few.
I was gonna say, I thought you twisted your ankle one. I remember that.
Yo, twisted an ankle, man.
Episode,
come on, that's nothing. Yeah. You know, like that's like that's nothing. You know, like I never hurt myself. But that to me, that's also a sign of connectivity within the self. Like even if I'm like walking and I stub my toe, I like stop and I'm like, what's happening? You know, and I check in because all this thing is it's messages. You know. And actually, they've studied it now. A lot of it's emotionally, it's emotionally based. You know, there's a psychosomatic, emotional connection to the illnesses that are occurring. You know, people get diagnosed with cancer, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, you got two years to live. All of a sudden they wake up and they go, shit, I got to start living, man. I got 2 more years, and then guess what happens? They heal the cancer. You know, so it's strange. It's like the body makes alerts, you know, like if you cut your finger, that has a meaning, you know, if you hurt your right knee, that has a meaning. It's not just, this isn't unconscious technology. This is brilliant. This is very, very sophisticated God technology, right? And it's up to you to be able to figure out and discern what it means so that you can correct it and so that you can heal it, so that you can go on your way and so you can have your path, you know, and health is the most by far the most valuable, abundant resource you can have. Because if you're healthy, then shit, you can do fucking anything. Okay, if you're sick, man, you can't even get out of bed. You know, and there's times where you've got to go down. There's times where you've got to, you know, there's ebbs and flows of this thing. You know, like I never really get sick. I never got COVID. I'm super healthy. I like, you know, I do a lot of things that are for my health. And but sometimes I just got to go down for 24 hours. You know, I don't know what it is. Sometimes, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. And I just go into a fast. I just drink water. And in 24 hours, I'm literally 110%, you know? And sometimes the body just needs a deep rest and a deep reset and to purge whatever it is that needs to come through it. And you're on your way, you know? And it's quite natural.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially when I have my 2 sons, right? And they go to school, they grab everything at school and bring it right back home here. And I'm like, okay, here we are. I'm not feeling too well and neither are you. Okay. You know, like, and that's the natural ebb and flow of life. Like you said, man. And it's a part of the process. You know, nothing's perfect. This world is messy. I have a whole brand someday I want to do about the messes of life. And like, it's a messy, beautiful miracle. And it's all just too much fun with all these amazing people that we have to share it with.
Share that. What do you mean? I'd love to know what you mean. You want to do a brand about that? Like give it to me.
Yeah,
because we're also in a creator station now. You know, you're speaking these into reality. People are listening to you, monitoring you. I'm holding you accountable personally as a friend and a mentor and an ally on this journey. So I'd love to know, because this is how we actually think and create and move into manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually an acronym. There's a whole system I have to it. And it's just about the diversity in life and the beauty of how abundant this world is and how we can be wherever we need to be. You know, it's up to us. Nobody's going to save us. We have to save ourselves. And, you know, it's just about having fun, living messy and having a good time and being playful. It all kind of spins into itself with everything that we're doing with PTG. And we have, I mean, Marcelo and myself, we sit down and we talk about all these different, you know, like you said, think tank ideas about branding and how we can keep having fun with paintball, keep sharing the love, because as you know, you've opened up so many hearts through this game. It's just such a spectacular sport for really building that tribe, building such an amazing tribe of people together, and we all go out and have fun. And it's one of the few things that you can really like just go and kind of get lost in the mess of it all. Paintball is super messy and it all just spins together,
I like that.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it stand for, Ty?
Well, I don't know if I can give that piece away, just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have told me before, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I get it. Yeah. We got to cross the T's and dot the I's on that bad boy first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Always. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, Oliver, I think there's been so much creativity in professional paintball in the last like 2 years, which has been so cool to see. So many of the pros are kind of expressing themselves. You see Archie with Project, obviously you and Alex with Hormesis. We have Play the Game. Ryan has Spick and Span with Kyle. And it's a really unique time, you know, and even Field One, I feel like, is a really creative boutique style company, you know, and that kind of small batch creative type of thing is really popular right now. And I think it's popular because it's authentic, you know, and people have been really just yearning for authenticity. And I think the last couple of years have just highlighted how much, you know, like you said, you turn on CNN, you listen to the news, it's really frustrating. It's really divisive. It seems almost like there's no light through that. There's no genuine, what am I trying to say? Genuinity? I'm fumbling on the word. Genuineness. There's definitely no authenticity for sure. And it's become very apparent. People are onto it and getting, you know, quite frankly, very sick of it. I think probably social media plays a big role in it as well. You scroll through social media, and if you do that, it's just so toxic, and you notice these traits that are, it's sad. It really is, you know,
well, you got to get really vigilant on your,
in a way.
You got to get really vigilant on your social media. If you're scrolling social media and it's toxic, delete everybody, unfollow it instantly. Like, I don't even give you. It's not
Instagram
a 3-strike.
Shows you.
It's not even a 3-strike rule. But that's because Instagram knows that you somehow liked something somewhere somehow. You know, if you like a chick with big tits. Instagram knows they'll just keep showing you
all
that
the big
shit.
Boobies.
Yeah,
Watermelons.
Don't even like
on
it.
The beach.
Maybe look at it. Don't like it. You know, just give it a quick stroke. But the minute anybody like all my social Instagram and Facebook feeds are literally filled with goodness. You know, there's a few like for some reason this one posted today. You know, but for the most part, it's all excellent stuff, and it's all art, and it's all mind expanding stuff. I don't ever.
You're onto something there. Yeah, Oliver, it's actually an important talking point because mine's pretty good too for the most part. But I'm kind of speaking as a generalization, right? Most people are scrolling through, seeing really toxic stuff. But you're right; it's because that's what they have put. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It might even be something that you don't like, but it's something that you give attention to. So
I remember
that's how these algorithms work.
I remember Brandon Short one time he showed me these like videos of like people getting hurt, you know, and like falling and like stumbling.
Ryan Kook slams. He has a new Kook slam all in.
Yeah, and I said, dude, unfollow that stuff, man. That stuff's just deteriorating you, you know, like you don't want that. Trust me. It might be funny temporarily and might give you, but if you're joyously laughing at somebody else's tragedy, you've got something wrong with you, to be honest. You know, I do not want to watch you fall and hit your face and break your nose. It's not funny. You know, it's just the bottom line. It's not funny.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you on that.
If you're watching that stuff, just move away from it instantly. You know? Like, look, we've got a certain amount of you've got a certain amount of bandwidth and battery, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be 40 years old. I'm fucking brand new, dude. I'm brand new. I have so much fuel. I have so much juice. I have so much battery. I don't let anything deteriorate my bandwidth. Like, I'll be in a business meeting and I'll say, this is not worth my energy right now. And the people will be like, what do you mean? We have to discuss this. And I'm like, no. This is so far out of the way. Like, don't even think about this now. Like, we'll think about this in 6 months, if it possibly even occurs. So it's like, you got to get super vigilant with how you expend your energy. And if you want to be excellent at anything, you know, in paintball, like you can't be going, if you're in a tournament, you can't be going and wasting energy. You need every ounce of that thing. You need to learn how to even cultivate more of it while you're in it, you know? Right? So it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with life. Like, get vigilant with how you are wasting your energy. And there's a lot of ways to waste energy out there, you know, and there's a lot of ways how to cultivate energy. And there's a lot of secrets out there. And that's part of the secret, the spiritual path, you know, is really having an immense amount of energy. Energy is the number one currency, you know, and you know what currency is? What is currency actually? Currency is energy, right? You stick a socket in, you get currency. What is also currency? Money, right? You pay with currency. It's money, right? So it's like, if you have energy, you can get money. You know, most people are out there who don't have energy and they don't have money, and that's the samsaric cycle, or the rat race people talk about. You know, and it's true. You know, if you're working for somebody every day, man, you don't have energy. You know, you don't have energy for your kids. You don't have energy. You know, maybe you can go play some paintball and get a little energy back on the weekend, or, you know, maybe your wife is sweet to you and she gives you some energy. But, you know, it's like, man, we should be just dealing energy, you know, like when I hang out with you guys, like I feel energy, you know, I'm getting pumped right now. Like my body feels like I'm 19 years old, you know, and it's like, because I'm surrounded by people who have good energy. You know, what happens when you walk into a space with somebody who has some negative energy, or talking about some negative bullshit that takes up your bandwidth? You know, you just lose energy. And all of a sudden you got to hang out with them all, you know, for the day, because they're your friend. They're your, oh, I've known him for 10 years. He's my friend, but he just sucks you full of energy, you know? Right. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, I got to go, dude. That guy is like, oh shit. I guess I still got to be his friend though, you know? So, you know, get diligent and get vigilant on how you spend your energy. Get that energy so you can get that currency, so you can get that cash, so you can do something good with it. You know, this is business 101.
Yeah.
That's a home run.
The sad ones are just, you don't want those. You don't want those around.
No way. Where's the applause? Bring in the applause.
Yeah, we need the applause. There it is.
We need that kind of that big energy.
If you're feeling bad, you should just get headphones and put that applause on and just walk around with it. You know? Yeah, just like drive your car. Don't listen to the stuff that you're listening to. Just listen to people applauding you. You know, you'll be driving.
Yeah. Oh,
this is true. There's something really powerful in the clap, like the hand clap, the reverberation of that sound,
it's
that energy.
Man. This is energy.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Energy.
It's energy, but also that can displace energy. Yeah. So like if your friend is an asshole, if you just clap real quick, it gets out of the way, you know? But like, for instance,
I like that.
This space that we're in right now, we don't actually want to be clapping because the energy is so good. So if you know, you do clap, like for instance, they, you know, like when there's a symphony and the conductor is playing and the music's playing, it's actually, in the old days, you don't clap at the end of the symphony because that dissipates everything that was happening the whole time. Even I went to a show last night from this hip hop guy, and he was like, we was at this tea house. It was really cool. And he was like, look, don't clap, just do this, you know, after each performance, because he was right. Because every time you clap, it just displaces the energy.
And Oliver was rubbing his hands together, which is really cool. That's a really great way of going about it. Cause you're right. It does. It like all that tone that they laid down, all that energy that they laid over the crowd just gets completely displaced when you start, you know,
it's just like when we're playing paintball and you come up to me and you know, hit me on my back, boom, I'm like excited, you know, like the energy just got displaced and I'm like, okay, let's go, you know, shit, I'm ready, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So these are all
when are we going to do that again?
These are all subtle tactics. You know? Well, bro, I just am, you know, I got a plan, but it doesn't revolve around the current modern day themed game, the way that it's being played. Because I like
the way this sounds
already.
Revolve
around.
This sounds great.
Are we starting a Hormesis team? A Hormesis 3-man team? Maybe 4-man if Alex wants to be on it.
You're getting closer. You're getting hotter. You know, you've got your intuition's kicking in. It's something like that. But I mean, you know, like how long have you guys been playing now? You know, how many tournaments have you won? How many tournaments have you won? You know, how much? You know, how many places have you gone and traveled and seen? There's so much good, and you guys still have a lot of youth for it. And like you said, this is a really great time for paintball because there is a lot of new creative avenues of people coming through and sharing more of their gifts besides just on the field, you know? And so I think paintball is literally probably the best it's ever been. And I'm not even really directly involved in the game itself, but as a witness and as somebody who's who's also involved. Like, I feel personally more involved in the game now than I've ever been because of Hormesis and the community that we're building and what's been growing in it. And I feel like more personally dedicated to each soul that does play paintball. And I feel more personally dedicated for a bigger mission for the game than I ever did before, because before I was looking at it a very selfish and myopic view of, I got to win, I got to be the best. This is, me. And as you step away from the game and you give space, even like, Tyler, you've got a wife and kids, your kids might be, driving you kind of crazy. And then you step away from them for a minute, you step away from your family, and then you go, damn, I love you. Like, I love that madness. I want to be in it, but I got to learn how to kind of manage myself when I'm in it so that I don't lose my cool and traumatize any of them, So that's what happens when you step away from the game. And I think that right now, because that, you guys are veterans in the game, like you guys are 20 something years deep into this thing now. You're no longer little children. You're the highest of the high in this sport, and it's up to us. And I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this game's going to change when we all change the game. Until then, we're just playing the game, and we're doing what other people want us to be doing, and we're subsiding to their notions or ideas or notions of the game. And most of them don't know anything about it for the most part. I mean, God bless them, and they're doing a good job. But, we know the game. You guys fucking know the game. I know the game. Greenspan knows the game. Archie knows the game. These guys, once we start to move away from the game, this whole game's going to transcend. This whole game is going to absolutely blow up into the next version, because who else is going to do it? Well, those older guys are gone. These guys who have been running the leagues and running these older companies for a long time. I mean, they're already in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't even know how old some of them are. We're spry and young, and we really care. And we really want to see this thing evolve beyond what we experienced it. I know I do. Like I want the dream's always been, we want people to be noticed as professional players. And what does that mean? And how do we treat them? And I never personally really got that. I got a little taste of it here and there. Maybe you guys get a little taste of it here and there, but not really, not really. So my mission is to grow this, my company and my business, and make this huge community offering. And I mean, like, I'm realizing now in a very small amount of time, I'm realizing how much money these businesses make off of us, and how much money they've been making off of you guys for a long time, man. Like, I have enough money with my little rinky-dink headband business right now to sponsor you like I was sponsored by Dye 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I could sponsor you for $100,000 a year right now. I could do that. And I have a headband company. I don't even make anything else, So imagine if I made guns. Imagine if I made 20,000 guns a year, 100,000 guns a year. You know how much money these guys have been making off of you? Which is good, great. God bless them. There's nothing wrong with making money. And
I need to talk to Field One.
It's a part of life. Well, Field One is just getting off the ground. But when Field One starts to really thump, bro, I mean, my mission is I want to get Hormesis to a certain level where I'm sponsoring Dynasty for $1 million a year, like a $200,000 a year. Like HK JT sponsors you for $200,000 a year. That's a drop in the bucket of what they make. That's a drop in the bucket, dude. Yeah. And they barter you the whole time. And they big league you like they're giving you the big deal of the century. Oh, we're going to give you $200,000. $200,000, dude. You're a multi-million-dollar company. Multi-million-dollar company, dude. A multi-millions of dollars. That's a lot of money. You can do a lot with millions of dollars, So my mission is to grow and to get the money, because I've also realized that money is a very, very, very important thing to have in this lifetime. And anybody listening to this, don't dedicate yourself to only getting the money, but realize that you got to get some money, because I never used to think like that. I was always like, oh, it's cool. I'm just a paintball player. I can live off 30 grand a year, cool. I got my little skateboard, little beach house, but Tyler, you got a family, you got to provide, and I think that's a big part of the life and maturation is, getting that woman, falling in love with her, making that baby, now you've got to turn it up in here. You had to turn it up. You had to go and you had to get the money from Heat, and you'd say, okay, I got to take this more seriously. Now you guys got the Play the Game podcast. Now you're like, okay, how can we generate some more cash from this? How can we take this to the next level? How can we grow this? How can we, how? We got to keep thinking, and the material world is going to keep applying pressure to us. For instance, Hormesis only came because of pressure for me. I mean, actually, it came in a very soft, subtle moment in a float tank. But I was, my business was about to close. COVID was happening. I literally had zero money, like literally zero money, like less money than I had when I was 17 years old. I had a large amount of money invested in a property and in a business. I had already leveraged my life insurance. I had taken out, like I was toasted. So pressure came and said, start this business. Oh shit, okay. Well, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know where that was going to take me. Who do I call? I call the first person who's my ace and my roll dog of my life, and I said, Alex, like, I don't know. I got this insight from a float tank, and it said to call you and, ask you to be my partner in this. It didn't say, I'm sorry that it didn't say you guys, but, it said Alex. And I said, okay, Alex, hey, what do you think about this? Can we make this happen? And, he believed in me, he's that type of guy who has resonance and faith in you, and also rapport. And this is a big part about being able to make money in your life is you've got to have rapport. And if you don't know what that is, you need to know what that is. And it takes a long time to have rapport. And so, for instance, what we're doing in the paintball industry, what you guys are doing, what I've been doing for 20-something years, what you guys we've been building rapport. All my people who are interested in Hormesis, in the Hormesis community, which if you're not a part of, you need to really be a part of it because it's the most cutting edge thing that I think has ever happened to a sport, let alone a business, because we're literally interacting with our friends now, who are supporting us and who are helping propel this dream into this next higher echelon of it, right? And so I don't even know where I'm going anymore, but I'm just passionate about it. So it's like, we're moving and we've been building rapport, and the people who are helping us are people who've been in paintball 20 years ago, who are now like, hey man, I'm getting back into the sport. I love it. So not only do we have people from 20 years ago who are coming back, we have a whole new generation of people, a whole new, like you guys were just teaching a camp this weekend. I saw that all those young kids, I've never seen those kids. Those are the future. You guys are the ones that are sprinkling the seeds and the nuggets of gold to these kids to one day be like you. And I hope that one day they're making way more money than you are playing paintball. I hope they're way more comfortable and way more on their feet. And guess who's going to make that happen for them? You are. I am. Nobody else is going to do it. Me and Alex look at each other all the time. I say, Alex, I have this idea. I want to, this is the vision. He goes, well, who else is going to do it? I said, we are, like we're going to do it. We have to do it. This is our dharma in a sense for the paintball community. And also in the same time, we're also growing and learning and, benefiting from it. And that's the art of abundance. Like you said, Tyler, it's all around us. Look at nature. It's just fruiting and flowering, we should have a lot. It's not that we should have a lot to the point where we're wasteful and that we're, it's unappreciated, but we should have a lot, I'm very comfortable with where I am and what I live and what I have, like I live in a very small house. It's very modest. I have paintings, I have an ice bath, I have a garden, and that's enough for me. I don't need a Maserati. I don't need a Land Rover. I drive a Vespa. It's like, I have enough. I have a lot in a sense. I'm not over the top, over spilling full of nonsense, And so the message there is, like, I want all of you guys to have a lot. And, I think that Mother Nature, it's just always giving, how can we tap into that stream of it? And how can we essentially assist each other within the progress of obtaining, security, wealth, comfort, ease, joy, happiness, peace. How can we do that? And we have this medium, which is a crazy medium, which is paintball, which I personally think is the fucking future. It dawned on me the other day, like doing this Hormesis thing, making these fake paintball guns with scrap metal, from another artist. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, man, if everybody played paintball, we'd fucking have no wars. Right now there's a war going on. We're literally living in a time where there's war. There's people getting bombed right now. We're sitting here talking about paintball. These guys are getting bombed, man. Like, the shit is happening out there. Well, why? Why is that happening? Can we all just kind of come together and say, you know what, man, we have differences, Maybe I don't like you. Maybe you don't like me. Well, how can we figure this out so that we can live in more harmonious lifetime, in a more harmonious space of an era of time? We're in 2020 and we're still bombing each other. If everybody played paintball, if everybody learned how to cathart themselves, if everybody matured properly, dude, you'd have no Putins. You'd have no nonsense. People would have understanding and have level-headedness and grounding under them and have some compassion and love for each other, or maybe you have to have that side of the spectrum so that we can learn from it. I don't know, it's very complex, but at the same time, man, I really think that paintball is about to pop in such a sense that it's not only a sport, a game, but it's also a therapeutic release. It's also also a teacher. It's also a guide. It also gives you something. Builds confidence. Like I was watching the serial killers the other day. I was watching Ron Kilborn's section, and he nailed it, man. And Ron Kilborn's an elder. He says, "Look, you got to learn how to work together, and paintball teaches you how to work together. If you don't know how to work together, you got nothing in this lifetime." And that's so true, because I can't do this without you. You can't do this without me. Community. I'm in the business of community is what I've realized. This whole headband thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's nonsense. It's a headband, but it's not at the same time. It's
right.
It's
so
the
much bigger
medium.
than that.
It's the medium that is the glue that binds us together so that we can interact, so that we can share, so that we can create, so that we can evolve, And I'm in there every day watching people, every day. Like, it's my favorite thing to do, literally, to watch the people interact, to watch the people like each other's posts, to watch the people support each other, to watch the people boost each other up. Somebody comes in, hey, look, I just made these new headband cases. Anybody want one? I'm giving them away.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hey, like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is the gold, man. Somehow the creator created me to do this thing, which got us here. And this is just the beginning of it, This is just the beginning of it, and you guys are getting activated. You guys are getting, you guys are maturing into your older ages. And again, you're still very young. Like, I'm 40 years old. I'm very young. And it's like, we're just gearing up for the next chapter, So when you ask me, when am I going to come back to play paintball? I've done that. That chapter's closed. I'm on to the next chapter, but it doesn't mean I'm not involved. It doesn't mean that I don't care anymore. It doesn't mean that I'm not affiliated. I'm more ever.
So we're putting it to bed for everyone out there, because everybody was so excited. Now people are placing bets. He's going to come back eventually. He might play one tournament. Are you putting it to bed,
Look, the thing is I don't know what's going to happen, and the life is a great mystery. And there is moments where I literally have dreams of playing paintball and winning alongside of my friends, But with that being said, it's like I also loved being in senior year of high school, and dating the freshman chicks. I don't know if I'm going to go back to that. Like, I'm on to the next thing.
Dude.
You didn't date freshman when you were a senior? Come on, man, missed out.
No. I didn't go to high school really though, so it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't count. I was kind of.
Well, that explains your social inadequacy.
Is that it? Damn, my lack of being predatory.
You were the freshman, Tyler, for sure, huh?
Yeah, and oh man, what I can take me back. Let's go.
Take me back.
Well, that's also a good. That's also a good point, though. Like, there's those glory days, right? And you know, you're a freshman and the senior girl picks you up, you know, it's like there's a part of you that wants to go back to that, but man, there's just so much more, you know. So
Yeah,
it's like we got to
I was gonna
keep
absolutely.
say, you
moving, you know.
remember all my girlfriends were always older. I was never into the younger ones.
Yeah, I'm more into older chicks too, also, to be honest, you know. But it's a
Yeah,
novelty, you know, when you're a
it's a
senior and,
novelty. It's a
they're a
novelty.
freshman, you know,
It's a,
and you got the
it's a
cloud of
novelty.
like a couple years, you know, and you think you're the big guy on campus, you know.
I was going to ask you, Oliver, your
For sure.
favorite aspect of life after paintball, but you just described it so perfectly in those previous statements of, you know, connecting with the community and being able to watch people help each other, man. We need so much help right now, and we've got to be there for each other as
Yes.
a community, as a collective people, you know, and it's an amazing to see companies like yours, like HK Army, you know, who really care about people, like, you know, so many other companies out there as well, that you see it every day. They go out of their way to help, you know, and you and Alex have two of the biggest hearts in paintball. Anybody that's met you or played alongside you or even had a brief conversation knows that. And it's really been inspiring. You've inspired so many people just by, you know, like you said, you were pressured into this like a diamond. You know what I mean? The pressure just made the diamond, and it's just in there. And once the COVID hit, it was the same thing kind of for us. That's how PTG was birthed. You know, we were like, what are we gonna
Mm.
do? You know, I have I can't play paintball. What do I even do? You know, we're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta find a way to play paintball still.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was our avenue to still like play,
Mm-hmm.
and it created that diamond. And it's been cool to see you guys cook up Hormesis attire as well, not just the headbands. You guys
I
are
can't
making
wait for
shirts,
Hormesis attire.
making
I
yeah,
can't
it's
wait,
really cool what you
dude.
guys are doing.
Oliver, I've been saying for since the very first shirt you even had, actually even before this, when it was just headbands. I'm like and you could use whatever analogy you want. I noticed the Hormesis attire page doesn't follow Burberry, so it's like Gucci is probably the thing, and Louis Vuitton. You guys are the Burberry of paintball, or one of the, you know, designer companies. It's so damn cool. I love it. I love everything about it, because it's like, when have you ever had just paintball clothes that you could wear out and actually be cool? You know, it's like if you
Totally,
wear a
totally.
paintball shirt out, it's like they're all super dorky, and, you know, we wear them still, but, you know, because we play paintball and we love
Well,
it. But
this is a
to
good
have
point.
like the fashion, the trend.
This is a good point, Marcelo, and I appreciate you for having the, you know, the knowledge and understanding of that, because you're coming from, you know, you're cool and you understand what is cool, and, you know, and it's like, what we need to do is we need to realize that if we want to take this thing and really bring it somewhere, and I'm not talking about like, oh, okay, you know, 10,000 people play here and there's this many people at the tournament. I'm talking about making this thing a lifestyle brand, like paintball. I'm not talking about Hormesis. I don't even want Hormesis to be the only one. Like you said, there's Burberry, Louis Vuitton, Supreme, you know, they're all big, you know, and they've created a worldwide lifestyle. But what is it even attached to? You know, like Burberry, Louis Vuitton, like they don't have, they just attached to some sort of fashion thing, or maybe this is cool. Like, we need to create the fashion of paintball. We are at the tip of the spear on this. You know, we decide what's cool. You know, no longer T-shirts.
Dude, this is
and
major.
like nonsense, and, you know, the stuff that we've been doing before. Let's create it. Like, there's kids right now. I'm sure maybe, Tyler, your kids have skate shoes. You know, maybe they got Vans.
I was gonna say skateboarding, exactly.
Most people never even touch a skateboard, and they wear skate shoes. Never even touch a skateboard, right? But they're affiliated with it, and then maybe they dream about it. Maybe they want to, you know, and that's a step towards something. So what I want to do is I really want to evolve, because I'm into fashion. I never even thought about it. I just always like looking good and feeling good, and that came down to actually that book you mentioned earlier, The Game. I remember as a young kid, I was maybe like 20, 21, and I found this book, and it was called The Style Life Challenge. And this changed my life because, well, I mean,
You made me read that.
It was essentially my first kind of taste of personal development, you know, which I'm very, very into now, and have been for a long time, because I believe we need to really develop and we need to mature, and nobody's really teaching us how to do that. And if you just want to stay a 14-year-old kid, your whole entire life and dress like a 14-year-old child your whole entire life, that's your choice. I don't want to. I want to dress like a very refined, masculine man, you know, because I got a masculine man body this lifetime. So how do I ornament it? How do I glorify it in a non-perverse way? You know, how do I make it more beautiful? You know, and again, that's the Native American term, is the beauty way. You know, if you're not doing something beautiful, you're not doing it the right way. You know, and that's that. I live by that. You know, beautify yourself, beautify your house, beautify. It's so easy to beautify yourself. You know. So in the Style Life Challenge, he gives you like a whole discourse of every day what to do for like 21 days or something, you know? And on the first day, he's like, wake up, play your favorite song, shave, take a shower, you know, put on your favorite shirt. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, I don't really have to shave if I'm 21, but okay, I'll take a shower. I'll put on my favorite song. I'll put on my favorite shirt. And I remember just walking around that day feeling like I was just, you know, on top of the world just by wearing a shirt, just by wearing my favorite shirt that I would only maybe wear to a birthday party or, you know, some sort of special occasion. Why do you only wear your favorite shirt at a special occasion? Wear your favorite shirt every day, you know, have 10 of them. So, you know, and then I love this one teacher, Trogyung Trungpa, and I actually was reading it before you guys showed up because I love this. This guy's an amazing guy. He was a monk, and he got into a car accident when he was relatively young, as a young Rinpoche. And, you know, again, like we were talking about injury and stuff, you know, he went into a big meditation and was like, while he was hurt, and I think he had, you know, broken a leg or something like that from the car accident. And he realized he wasn't taking enough risks. So that was his download from the car accident. And he disassociated himself from as a monk. He took off his robes and left them, which is kind of a taboo thing to do. Once you've picked up your robes, you're supposed to, you know, wear that your whole entire life and, you know, dedicate your life to this, you know, kind of monk life. And what did he do, man? He took off his robes. He said, if I'm going to inspire the Western man, I need to go and live like a Western man. I need to go. So he moves to like London, or he moves to somewhere. I think he moved to, he started the Roque College in Colorado. Anyways, he would wear a suit every day, 3-piece suit, you know, he would be like the most elegant, and he was a monk, you know, like, so imagine a monk wearing a 3-piece suit. Like, it's like kind of like, whoa, you know, right? He started drinking, he started smoking because he wanted to understand the Western mind. Right. And anyways, he wrote this amazing book, and it's called Shambhala. And if you have the time and space, I suggest reading it. But he says, he talks a lot about being the warrior and what that means. And I'll give you a quick synopsis on what it means to be a warrior. But really, a warrior means to be impeccable with everything you do. Impeccability, right? And what does impeccability mean? It means to be absolutely 100% present with everything that you do. Everything. You're brushing your teeth, you're there, you know? You're there. You're playing with your kid, you're there. You know, you're playing paintball. That's why we love paintball so much, because it brings out the warrior in us. You're no longer thinking about paying the taxes or, you know, the girlfriend that you had or whatever it is. You're like there. The whole world has stopped, and you are present as fuck, and you are there. There's no going anywhere else. And that's why it feels so good. So imagine if you could take that feeling into everything you do. So that's what really being a warrior means. And there's books and books and books on what it means to be a warrior. But I love this. He says, therefore, a warrior wearing a well-fitted suit is regarded as wearing a suit of armor. How you dress can actually invoke upliftedness and grace. You know? So I won't even leave the house in the t-shirt. I made that a rule like a long time ago, you know? I won't even, I might hang out in my house. If you come over, I might change my shirt, you know, because what I'm doing is I'm uplifting. There's a sense of me that turns into a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more careful and a little bit more, graceful, like Chogyam Trungpa says. And so when I present myself to the world, when you present yourself to the world as Marcelo or Tyler, literally you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself to this reality that we've created out there. How marketable are you? How much will somebody believe in you? How much does somebody care and like you? This is all part of it, you know. And now maybe people within the sport, they know you, they've seen you on videos, they've heard your interviews, maybe they've met you at clinics, so they might know you, right? But not everybody. You know, when I walked away from the sport, my intention was to start absolutely fucking brand new. I didn't want anybody to know me. Nobody knows what I've done. Nobody knows who I am. I'm a brand new person, and I have to make my way in this world. And that's like everybody. The difference is you and we, you know, we had this paintball thing, and we moved through it, and people started to understand us and know us, and we've attached ourselves to that, which is wonderful. But one day you will have to detach from it, whether you like it or not, whether it's pride from your dead hands, you know. So how do you want to do it? You know, do you want to do it with ease and grace and elegance, or do you want to do it like, I mean, I'll tell you what, I actually retired earlier in my career than what we're starting to see is potential, because, you know, now Greenspan's moving into his 40s and he's playing better than he's ever played. But I'll tell you, in my lineage of the people who played before me, they were washed up and dead and out by 30. You know, they were toast. They were literally, we're like, dude, get the fuck off the team, man. You know, like, you're a legend, but like, you got to go, you know, like, you know, sorry, you know, like, and this happened time and time again on my watch as a young man watching this happen. So, you know, maybe I retired a little earlier than I could have, but at the same time, I felt totally content with my career and what I had made from it, and I was ready for the next thing. So, but what I'm saying for you guys is that, you know, you guys will one day have to walk away. How do you choose to do it? You know, will it be on your terms, or will it be a fatal accident? You know, up to you. You know, you've got to tune in with that. And so, just getting ahead of myself here. But, you know, the point I'm making is that, you know, there's an unfolding that's occurring, you know, and you're in charge of your unfolding.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think just real quick, just to address how you left the game. I mean, Oliver, honestly, it's just so fitting to who you are, because you probably did retire too early, but that's also part of the mystique and the magic of what you did. Like, you've never done anything the way it should be, or the way people think you would do it. You know, like, it's so fitting to your career. You came, in my opinion, you are the Jordan of our sport, right? You are the one that really paved the way. You were the first one to become a superstar and show people that being a professional paintball player is a real thing and it's possible. I know I could speak for me and Tyler, inspired so much of our careers. The reason we're sitting here on this show, the reason I am, is largely due to your influence on the sport as a whole. And so, you know, you came in, you did it, and got out, but you know what? You're not out. You're right. You're involved now more than ever. And to hear you have these, I got really excited about 20 minutes ago when you were talking about your vision for Hormesis and being able to sponsor Dynasty, and it just what you want to do for the sport, because I understand who you are. You know, I understand that when you set your mind to something, you're going to do it. And you have this vision for paintball that's larger than most paintball players even understand right now. And so I think a lot of players, you know, I know myself personally, I was sad for the first few years after your retirement, you weren't involved, you know, and I felt like the sport had lost, you know, the most prominent piece that it's had maybe ever, right? Truly, as far as like what you do to inspire players, right? And you don't even have to know you. Like, for me, Kobe was a huge inspiration. Kobe was one of the biggest inspirations in my life. It wasn't even about basketball. It was just about who he was and what he did and how he approached the game and how he approached practice and all of that kind of stuff. Not having him here is it's so weird. When he got in the helicopter crash, you know, I'm in a group text with my older brother, his two sons, and we're all Laker fans. And none of us know Kobe, but the impact that he had on all of us, it was like, I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what I was doing. I was at the gym. I was in the middle of a workout. I get this phone call. We have the conversation. I was like heartbroken. I felt like I lost a brother, right? didn't even know this man, but it's the impact that he had on who I was. You're that person for a lot of people in paintball,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so to have you back in and focused on paintball and giving back to the community in the way you have been has been such an amazing thing, Oliver. And, you know, I'm sure I could say thank you on behalf of all of PTG, but on behalf of the paintball community. Because
Well,
I think you're right. Certainly there's just so much more that we can do, and it is up to us, period.
yeah.
It's up to us.
Yeah, thanks, Marcelo. And that really means a lot to me, you know, hearing that. And yeah, really touching. You know, even to be somewhat associated with Kobe in that same sort of thing. And you know how I really saw it, and it sounds almost like, it sounds kind of crazy, but you know, like, what would Kobe want you to do when Kobe dies? You know, it's like,
Kick ass.
he wants you to be the best that you can be, you know? And me, I'm a big character, you know, and on the sport and the game, I was a big character, and I was taking up a lot of space, and I was taking up a lot of light, you know? And part of the unfolding is super complex, you know, but a big part of me to leave was to really just make space for other people, you know? Like, now Greenspan's playing his best he's ever played, you know? Obviously, Ryan and I have a big karmic situation, a big karmic brotherhood, you know? And it's like, man, I want him to be the best. How can he be the best if I'm over there fighting for him to be the best, fighting for him, for me to be the best, you know? So I got what I needed, you know, and everything you do in your life is going to give you what you need. And you need to become aware enough to realize when it's time that you don't need any more of it, and time to take up onto the next thing, you know? And that's been my personal mission in my life. Again, like I said, as a 40-year-old man, now I'm just beginning. So I took some time away from it. And I'm telling you right now, this is really fucking serious. There's going to be nothing that ever replaces paintball. Okay? It's that simple. There's not going to be anything that replaces it. Even doing what I'm doing now is incredibly nourishing and very similar in a sense. And I've chosen to play my life like a game of paintball. Like, I'm ferocious, you know? And if you know how I play paintball, you know how I play my life, you know? But I need a balance also. So there's never going to be anything that replaces paintball. I'm telling you that right now. And that could absolutely destroy you, bro. That could destroy both of you guys. And you could go down deep, dark tunnels that can affect family members and other people and so on and so forth, you know? And I think personally, majority of you guys, especially now, you know, reaching into a high level of the game, playing this thing for 20-something, 20-something, Ryan's been playing for, 30 years, you know, that's insane. Most of you guys will be afraid to retire. I wasn't afraid. I said, bring it on. I'm ready to go. I'm done with this thing, you know? Give it to me. Yeah. Cut it, you know? Like, I'm content, you know? Like, did it, done it, you know? And you have to have that. If you don't have that, man, it's going to be fucking painful. It's going to be really painful. So do not be afraid of it when it comes. It's just like death. This is a mini death. You know, Paul says die in every breath. You know, you have to be ready to be brand new with every breath. Just like a point, right? Rusty used to say, be brand new, right? We'd come in, oh my God, that guy cheated us and all the fucking, why did you look that way and what happened? And Rusty's like, dude, be brand new. Like, who cares? That's gone. You're on to the next thing. If you want to make a trajectory and you want to win this match, or you want to win this, do your best in this lifetime, go on to the next thing. Don't bring that waste from the past into this, you know? And what would happen? We would go on, we'd erase that game. Okay, we just got our ass kicked really quickly. Okay, ready? And win, right? So So just look at it like, look at life like a paintball match, you know, and be ready for the next thing when it comes, and you know, let it evolve, and just also really realize that there's not going to be anything that's going to be any somewhat close to that experience that you guys have been having ready at that highest level. And I pray for all the community people who are really interested and really serious about this game, that they one day get to taste what that tastes like to be in that, at that high level, playing in that finals game, you know, because it's really, really special.
Irreplaceable.
You know? It's irreplaceable. You know? and I love it. But also now, kind of like Tyler, as a parent, when you see your kid riding a bike for the first time, you did that. You're not like, oh, I wish I could ride the bike like that for my first time. Like I remember that feeling. You're like, you've got this term, it's called compersion, where you love to see other people happy, And so I'm sitting here, I'm fucking the biggest Dynasty fan that's ever been. I'm sitting here 16 hours ahead of the time, up at like 3 a.m. trying to watch Dynasty beat the shit out of Heat.
Really quick, hold on. Hold.
No offense, Tyler.
Really quick,
But
Oliver, you got to figure out how damn far ahead you are, because it's 15 hours. No, you're 15 hours ahead.
It depends on daylight savings,
It depends on daylight savings. Yes, you're
depends
right.
on daylight
but
savings.
Not 12 hours.
I'm 12 hours ahead of my mom, and so we talk on the phone. So that's my fault.
Okay.
And she's in Florida.
For the listeners, we had a little bit of a
3 hours, 15 hours time difference. But yeah, it's a confusing thing,
Yeah.
Time.
No,
time
Oliver,
again is the only aspect we really have,
Yeah. I like what you said about relating to
I'm in Wednesday. You're in Tuesday.
You are.
I'm in the future. Bro.
I know. But I'm in the present.
I love that answer.
I'm in the present. I'm here right now.
It's really good, actually, because when I have a birthday, I get to celebrate it here, and then like nobody, messages me or anything, and then the next day I go to bed. All right, I go to bed that night, and then I wake up the next day, and everybody's like, "Happy birthday!" So I get 2 birthdays.
Double birthday.
Yeah.
Nice,
dude. You're winning.
Yeah, it's always funny. Yeah.
Dude, you're winning.
Getting the overseas happy birthdays, like Australia and stuff, start hitting me up a day early. I'm like, all right, it's time to get the ball rolling. We're having a birthday coming up.
I love what you said earlier, Oliver, about us finally, people still don't know that the pro leagues even exist. Like people don't know that the three of us exist, that we've done this particular facet of life at the highest level, and we've applied everything in our fiber to push it to the forefront and help move it forward. And that really is the big one for me, at least by the end of my career. And, God willing, I have a great long career, and Marcelo and myself and all of us can keep having fun, boosting paintball and sharing the love of the game with people from all around the world. And we can transcend the playing aspect of it by still nurturing it and watching it grow and being a godfather to the game, like you've done all the way through. And that's the big one for me, is I just at least want for someday, for some kid that comes up through the ranks and he's a young go-getter, that he's going to be like this huge thing in the world, like an actual thing in the world where people are like, look at that kid. He's an amazing paintball player. And paintball is like an actual sport. And they say, wow, it's a really difficult game. Have you seen these people playing paintball? It's pretty spectacular, but it's just, we haven't got there yet. And I don't know. We've had discussions like, is paintball in the 40s, the 60s, the 80s? Is it in 2000? I don't know where paintball is at, comparing it to like baseball kind of terminology. Like, is it 40s baseball that we're playing right now? Or are we in the
Probably.
70s? Where exactly are we? And I can't wait for that adventure as well. Like, I love playing paintball. It's the greatest experience ever. I'm so grateful for my team, for all of the players that play pro paintball, for the community as a whole. And I'm just excited to like someday be able to play every recreational tournament, like every big game, like I want to travel and be with the people and play paintball in the thicket out in the woods, and experience that as well. And it's all going to be this amazing journey, and we're just so fortunate to all have each other, because it's a really special game. Like we've all hit on, teaches you so much about yourself and being a part of a community.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody just keep going out there and playing paintball and having fun, and shining the light on the game, and it'll mature. It's just, with all good things, it takes time, and it's just too much damn fun to pass up. Everybody that plays paintball knows that.
You guys want to hear an incredibly funny coincidence? I mean, I was blown away. First, I thought he was lying. Then he proved it. And then I was like, sometimes the universe just works in really funny ways. So back to the water heater saga. The whole PTG.
Dude, the funny thing is, we used to joke about this on Dynasty. On Dynasty, if you were late to practice, you broke your water heater. Like, oh.
Shout out to Glenn Takamoto. It's so funny. I don't know if you know, Oliver, but my water heater blew while I was traveling last year in like August. So it was this whole thing of getting it repaired. And then everyone in PTG said I spent too much, yada, 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 whatever. So this last weekend in Boston, I get a phone call that my place was just leaking and rushing water down to my neighbors. So anyway, I had a friend come over, shut the water off. Water heater's broke again. Today, I had the plumbers come out, and it's these two gentlemen. They come in and, they're trying to fix stuff, and we're talking, just chatting it up and kind of creating a friendship, I guess. These dudes were awesome. And they were looking around. I mean, I have paintball stuff like everywhere in my place. It's just apparent, my guns over there. I have everything. And they're like, guys, like you play paintball? I'm like, yeah, it's I do. And he's like, you look pretty serious over here. And I've got trophies and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I mean, play pretty frequently. It's my job and I do it full time. And, it's just in Boston, yada, yada. He's like, that's so funny. I just saw a video on Instagram. You guys like waste a lot of paint. And I laughed because there's been a couple that have been posted on SportsCenter recently of like people shooting and loading. And then everybody in the comments are like, well, look at these idiots wasting all this ammunition. Like that's their response. And so I pull up, I'm not kidding you. I pull up this, I'm going to pull it up right now for all the listeners. I'm pulling up a verbal reel of me reloading and I show it to him. Right. And I guess I'm wasting some paint. I go, yeah, no, look, like this is what I do. And he goes, no way. I saw that reel this morning. And I was like, you're kidding. He pulled it up on his phone. He pulled up his Facebook. It was on Facebook. And he literally scrolled down. He's like, I swear it was here. I swear it was here. And then boom, he has it. And he's like, it's right there. Like, no way. What are the chances this morning you see a paintball reel, like probably for your first time, and then you're at my house. It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I just hope that he actually fixed your water heater. He
didn't, dude. Oh my gosh. So I'm not even going to say how much I had to spend on it, but we got to the very end, replaced all the parts that we thought it needed, and then it won't ignite because the thermostat igniter thing is bad, I guess.
I saw Greenspan was changing his at his cabin, so he might be pretty helpful. You could call Greenspan. He's pretty handy these days,
I did see that. I wonder how it's still working. And it's probably still working pretty good.
I would call Greenspan. When in doubt, call Greenspan. Everybody.
That's right.
When in doubt.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Always.
Dude, we were all hanging out. We were all hanging out this weekend in Boston, and we had myself, Marcelo, Ryan, Nick Laval, Harrison Fry, and Slowiak. And yeah, man, we had a lot of fun out there teaching the kids, and it's really cool. Yeah. Oh, like you said, to see these youngsters coming up in the game, like that was us,
Totally.
And it is so full circle to, what you said earlier, dropping those gems, sprinkling that little bit of knowledge, even these little pieces that, that are going to change their life forever. I'll never forget, Oliver, when you came to Modesto, I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I asked you to play against me on this hyperball field to the side of the chrono area. And you, like the gracious, amazing person that you are, said, yeah. And you whooped me up a few times, and then I put a ball on you and one of them. And I don't know if I got you or we traded or whatever, but I'll never forget that moment, when I was like just a kid. I was like, well, this is the guy right here. This is the guy. I get to see this guy. He's out at my field. And if I can kind of hang with him, man, who knows what I could do,
Totally.
And those little moments, they change your life forever. So to be able to still have those opportunities, we all do have those amazing opportunities, is really timeless. And I think I've seen you playing a little bit of ball out there. I think you were teaching some people actually some paintball out there, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a field here, and they contacted me to consult for them to build it for them. So I went out there and I was like organized the field for them and told them like, what to do and how to set it up. And I actually went and built the field. I was like, rolling out hay bales, and because I feel like I feel like, and I thank you for that little side note, Tyler. And I think you're right. At the end of the day, whether some kid is the the Kobe Bryant of paintball, whatever. Man, it's how you leave your mark on people's hearts, you know, and that's really the most important thing, you know. Like we don't know what paintball will be and when it is, and we can have all these, you know, analysis of what year it is, and what it'll be. And honestly, I think probably, you know, we'll never really know what it will be because we will probably be gone at that point, and there will be something that will be highly evolved version of it, which way, shape, and form that might be, you know. And it's all a mystery. So, you know, let's just have fun with it, but let's leave our mark in people's hearts, you know. And like I did that to you, and I didn't even think anything of it. I was just playing this, you know, this young kid at the field, and look at you and look who you've become. And you're one of the most marvelous people I've ever met in my entire life. And if you can go and touch people's hearts, man, you've done enough on this earth. Even if you touch one person's heart, you know, and I know you've touched more. So it's like, this is really the big mark, you know? And I feel like that's what's really cool about us also being, you know, professional paintball players. We're not untouchable. You know, we are very personable, and and I'd rather be that. I don't want to be David Beckham. For sure. I don't want to be any of these guys who can't. I like to get into the world. I get into the ground. I like to get into the customs with the people, and I like to navigate and be fluid in there and learn it and understand it and touch it and taste it. If I'm Beckham, man, everybody's going to, you know, you can't go anywhere. Yeah. So to me, that's a total curse, you know, to me to have the taste of limelight like I did, and also still be able to navigate in this reality the way that I am. Most importantly, knowing who I am and having the confidence that I have, learning that through the game, that's the most valuable thing that you can you know, take on into your life. And when I was a kid, I used to go to skate camp. It was called Visalia YMCA skate camp. Yeah.
Shout out to Visalia.
Yeah, it's right next to you. Yeah. Actually, I drove through Visalia when I was just in California the last couple months. And awesome. I was thinking about it, and I always had the dream, and this is part of the bigger umbrella unfolding of Hormesis. And Alex and I joke about it all the time. We want to build a paintball Shangri-La or paintball Shambhala where you come to us and we teach you the game. But there's also a lot of other things involved in it. And it's pretty much a year-long summer camp, you know? So I used to go to Visalia for 2 weeks out of the year in summer, and I used to skate. I used to hang out with the pro skaters. In fact, pro skaters were our like, what do they call them? Cabin counselors, right? And we would, you know, get to intermingle with them, kind of like what you guys just did at the Boston paintball thing. So I love to see that. I think that's the most valuable. And anything like when you're submerged into something, like a weekend clinic is cool, you know, and that's all there's been. Now there's this evolution of how many days was this Boston one? A week?
4.
Yeah, about
really
5.
I mean, you know, we have orientation and hang out with them Wednesday. And
so that's amazing. You know, at least now we've expanded it. I want 7 days. I want 10 days. I want a full month long. If you want real transformation as a human being, the guy that I went, when I read that book, Mastery, and I said, fuck, I got to go find a master. Who can I apprentice, you know? And I knew a guy, and I said, okay. And I called him. I said, hey, I'm coming to apprentice you. He said, okay, 3-month minimum. I said, shit, that's exactly what I had for off season at the time, because this is when I was playing paintball, and I was like, okay, 3 months, let's go, you know? And I went, you know, and 3 months he had calculated, because he is a master, was exactly pretty much the amount of time you need to really dislodge your ego construct from all that you think you know about yourself. Is about 3 months is what he had calculated, and what had been applied to me, and I know worked. So like, I want to do these longer, more expansive, more in-depth, you know, essentially programs that are transformational with paintball involved in them, in a place that's remote, detached from the city and the civilization, and we're eating natural foods, and we're out there, and we're in the, we're in the nature, and we're, it's essentially an ashram, or like a Zen temple, where we can go, and paintball is the hook to get you, but you're going to get a lot more when you come there, and you're going to build community, and we're we're going to be feeding ourselves and cooking and cleaning and chopping wood and, doing all these kind of essentially ritualized things that we don't get to do so much. Now we, maybe go camping and you pull up your car next to another car and, put out a seat and, light a fire with with one of those Duraflame logs and, cooking marshmallows, and that's camping. I want it to be raw and really, submersed in nature and, in fact, even having a little bit of a rites of passage, where you've got to go out into nature by yourself for a couple of days, and people are holding space and fire for you, and praying for you and your safe return. And, you go out there and you face your demons and your darkness and you come back and you're a more integrated man, and this is ancient stuff that's been done for a long time in primal societies, what we call primal, but these are super highly advanced civilizations, that have been doing this. We don't have a rites of passage or initiation anymore in this day and age, and I think that's a big issue with our mental midget construct of ourselves that never actually matures and only wears basketball shorts and t-shirts to every day of our lives. So I think a big part of this is maturing.
Hey, whoa! I feel kind of attacked there, man. Come on.
Do you? Sorry. Well, if you feel attacked, then there's probably something in there that bothers you.
Basketball shorts and a t-shirt. What's wrong with that?
That's right. You think about that.
It's
every day. Every day, I said.
Every day. That's
okay.
What's wrong. Okay.
You're
Fair
looking
enough.
very pimpin' right now. Very GQ. I respect you very much so and will listen to anything you said and would be interested in investing in any operation that you are trying to interest me in, with the way that you look this right now, I trust you.
Boom.
You've built rapport with me by the way that you've presented yourself to me in a cleanly and constructed, organized manner. So I am interested in investing in you in whatever that might be and how in that look and shape and form, so we have to present ourselves to this reality.
Yeah.
We have to present ourselves to this reality and we have to mature ourselves in this time. We don't want to mature too quickly. We don't want to be 18-year-olds taking care of ourselves and never getting to live our childhood. What we essentially want to do is we want to move into mature. It's like it's like Yoda, right? Yoda is this like super sage, essentially yoga, Yoda. It's the same thing. He's a high master, sage, saint, he's a Jedi. He's the man, he lives by himself in a hermitage. He's the wise. But when you see Yoda, what does he do, man? He giggles, he climbs all over you, he falls off you. He's like a little baby, So we want that combination of absolute, this playful spirit baby, but a super wise, mature sage who's done it, and has traveled the distance, right? It's like, look at your kids, Tyler, the way they act, man, that's how we should be acting, but not immaturely.
Absolutely.
We should be fondling and playing and laughing and, having the best days ever every day, but with knowing how to cook our food for us and how to maintain our garden and how to speak to our wife and how to show up at work and do our damn best,
That's right. I'm completely inspired every day by them. And we have the most fun, like you said, just going through the ups and downs of life are for all of us, and no day is absolutely without its hurdles. And we go through it together. We laugh together. We cry together. We grow our food together. Like you said, we go out and adventure together. We do all these things. And I'm learning so much by watching them create their reality and choose the way that they're going to navigate themselves and being, the guiding light that can maybe steer them in the right way and in certain ways of thinking and choosing to talk to people. Like today we were getting some food for my bearded dragon. Shout out to Snacker. One time I got to put Snacker on the podcast. He's the best bearded dragon in the world. And he hangs out all day with us. We were getting some food and we were leaving the store and I was, making my purchase, giving them the money for the food for Snacker. And I was sure to say, thank you so much. And he said, have a good day. And I said, have a great day as well. And the kids, are soaking this up. And then I told the boys, tell him to have a great day. And they said, have a great day. And he said, you guys too, be safe out there. And then they were kind of quiet. And then I said, we will, thank you so much. And then when we got outside the door, I said, hey, when he says be safe out there, or says, have a great one, you say, you too, thank you, and just those little bits like that, they're the most important, and it all stems back to gratitude. And, we're lucky. We're lucky to have all these moments together. And the key is to stay playful. I know, life is real, but if we can have a playful heart through it all, it's going to be that much more easy to navigate and kind of be like Yoda, giggle a little bit, climb on things, just have a little bit of fun when you can. That's what it's all about.
Well, they're really lucky to have you, man.
I'm the luckiest, dude. And I'm lucky to have both of you too, because we're all in this together, and everyone listening, this isn't just the three of us. This is all of us. This is team us. This is team people. And we're all in this together. So that's been the most rewarding, I think, for all of us here too, is the communities, and being able to connect and help every which way that we can.
Totally.
Yeah, I think such an important thing to kind of just add there about your attitude and how you approach things, how you think about things. My water heater is a good example of something that like you could really let that just mess your whole day up. For some people, that's the end of your week. I know there's been times in my life, whether there's other frustrations or not, where something like that would just derail my whole day. And I'm just so frustrated about it.
Totally.
Look, no matter how expensive, nothing changes other than how you feel. Like, you have to get it fixed or you don't. Either way, whether you do or you don't, your mood is your mood, and how you feel is how you feel. And that's the only thing that you could actually control.
That's right.
So to be salty and bitter and upset and have all this negative energy towards something that, it's super inconvenient. It's expensive. You have to plan how you're going to, maybe you have to work extra hours to pay for it, and there's sacrifice. Sure. But what I can control is putting energy into being sad about it and being upset and being like, God, why does everything happen to me like this? Why do I have bad luck? Why, it's one thing after another. When you put that focus and energy on that kind of stuff, you just perpetuate that.
That's right.
And whether it's that more of that stuff actually happens or not, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's just that you put more attention to that kind of stuff. And the reality is, in life, you have good and bad, period. But how you look at it is such a mega component to your overall happiness. And again, I mean, Oliver, I'm giving you a lot of praise. I'm not trying to be a kiss ass, but you truly are just one of the more prominent, inspirations in my life. But you taught that from such a young age, I realized. And it was so two things you gave me. First was The Game. You had me read the book, The Game, which was hilarious because I was 16, just got on the Ironman, and it was like, taught me how to pick up girls. Fantastic. Fucking huge key. Thank you for that. That was massive. And then the second was watching The Secret. And, today I think The Secret's a little hokey, but there were some very crucial foundational things in there that made me shift how I looked at things and how I approached really everything. If you haven't seen The Secret, it's worth a watch, and really it's just about the power of positivity and law of attraction. And, when you put out good energy, you're likely to receive good energy. And again, I've shifted my beliefs in certain things, but the core principle to me remains the same, that, you are in control of your mood. You're in control of your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to happen, you have to fix it or you don't, or whatever actions are going to occur after the incident. It doesn't matter. It's going to occur anyway. So the way you feel about it is up to you. And it's simple but complex, you
nailed it right there. It's the secret is the feeling. So when you go into a tournament and you get that feeling and you're like, dang, man, we're going to win, get that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep that feeling? Oh, maybe when you meet your wife or your girlfriend, you get that feeling, right? So it's all based on feeling. Yeah. Feeling is the key to the success or the distress, right? So it's how do you feel about something, and the way that you feel will cultivate the outcome, the correct outcome, right? And I look at things like this. Everything works out in my favor. Everything. Okay, maybe my water heater breaks. I don't know what that means at all, besides the fact I can't take a hot shower. But for some reason, there's something that's happening, and it might take some time for it to unfold, but it will work out in your favor. Okay, so the best thing to do is when the situation occurs that's somewhat distressful or negative or difficult. Okay, well, don't let that take you and harbor your feeling, your good feeling. You know that you've been working. You gotta really fucking own that good feeling. You know, I don't think a lot of people know what it feels like to feel good, and most people feel not so good, and they actually get attached to things that don't make them feel good because that's all they're familiar with. So you got to clean that little thing that's inside of you that can allow you to feel again. And then that's the aspect of the warrior, is to be able to really feel and to come in contact with this thing that's life, and that we're moving through every day. And life is absurd, bro. Life is absurd, and it's going to bash you in every which way, shape, and form all the time. But man, a real master will just laugh at it, you know? A real master realizes that somewhere deep inside of him, it's for his favor. It's working out in your favor. Somehow you might not know for 10 years, you know, but there's a series of events it's like a domino rally, things that are occurring, you know, and maybe this thing will lead you to this thing, to meet this one person, which can then give you this story, which might go into something else and something else and something else. So if you get stuck on the negative feeling towards a minor thing that occurs to you in your life, and you hold that, and then even worse, you spread that to other people, you know, now this is black magic. This is like, you know, this is the worst of the worst thing you can do, is when you start to give your negative feeling to other people, you know. People like to get around and they like to talk about negative things and bring each other down. Oh, this guy does this and fuck him. You know, this is terrible, you know, and all this does is hurt you. You have to realize that you've got a feeling sense. You've got a full central nervous center that is continuously feeling, and you've got biochemicals in you that are releasing amazing things that are just, you're a full chemical factory, you know, serotonin, dopamine, all these things you can release these things, you know, and you can just feel good all the time, right? So why even give your feeling or give your attention to this thing that's going to distract you and that's going to bring you down the slightest bit? You got to be super vigilant and not allow that. And if you want something and you really feel good about it, guess what happens? It comes to you, you know? Guess what happens? Somehow something works and bam, you've got it. And with that being said, I'd like to buy you a new water heater. You know, how much does that cost? A couple grand? Hormesis will sponsor it, you know? We'll make you we'll get you a water heater with Hormesis print on it, you know, so you can look at it every day and thank us, you know? And your water will be blessed by the Hormesis geometries. So now does that alleviate your stress and pain and allow you to cultivate this good feeling, so that you can put that towards other things that are more progressive and more proactive in your life, that can actually be more fruitful?
We are absolutely alleviated.
Good.
Yes. Look at that. Honestly, you know, it's kind of like what I was saying. I was already just kind of laughing at it. It is what it is, you know. There's you know, and I don't know if, for me, I don't know that I believe that everything works out in my favor, personally, me, right? But I'm totally okay with the stuff that doesn't. It means it's not meant for me, you know, or like, you know, maybe that water heater, maybe if that water heater didn't start leaking everywhere, maybe one night while I was sleeping, it built up so much pressure that it actually exploded. That's right. Maybe it needed to release the pressure here, and this is how it happened.
In your favor. That's working out in your favor.
That's a bad example. You're right.
But that's okay, because you're already on the track. You're already on a positive algorithmic understanding of that. Like, Tyler's incredibly positive, you know? Like, Tyler, you've had a lot of positivity shine through you, you know, like, you know, you have that ability to laugh at something and not take something so
it's
serious.
From but I think what it is from like trial and error, and the hardest times, like dark times, actually, are the ones that mold you. And like, you know, like you said, Oliver, I love what you've done with the warrior classes and the hawk and the schooling that you've also offered to people. And if you didn't take advantage of something like that, I think that you really should look at that again and really understand how important it is to have those words of so much trial and error and failing a lot, failing a lot and seeing death and misery and these really harsh things in life, because it's very real, like I said earlier, it's a very, very delicate system, this whole entire thing that we're all a part of. And if you can transmute that energy and take that energy and transmute it, like you said, with your chemical factory, which I feel like these days is very base level. We only look at it from like a very low standpoint. It's super base level, but it's tall and it's stacked and it is deep. If you choose to really appreciate the chemical process that is happening is pretty staggering. And just being able to transmute those hard times has allowed me to see that maybe the most efficient and best way is to be light about it, and there are some things that can be heavy and dense, and those are valid too, and they take a little bit more work to like churn through, but it's all about efficiency, and we talk about that all the time, not only in paintball but in life, and the most efficient is to I have this funny saying with my kids. I'll tell them just like, be like a duck. You don't see ducks get soggy. You know what I mean? Ducks don't get soggy because they let that water just roll right off their back. You ever watch a duck? They're perfect, and so just try to let it roll and just stay lighthearted and stay positive. And it takes effort. It is not easy, but it is definitely worth the effort.
Well, it's a progression. Oh, yeah. It's a progression. At first, it takes a little effort. At first, it's hard. At first, it's devastating, and at first, it's confronting. And then it takes a little bit of effort. And again, this comes with the wisdom of old age. Like if you do it right. Some old people, I'm not saying they did it right, but some older people, they're smooth. They're like light. This is enlightenment. It's essentially having the ability to not carry this big sack of burden of dramas and traumas and nonsense on you, and how do you have the expertise to transform a trauma into a miracle? When something happens to you, how do you learn from it? Right? Tropa and Trumpa hit in a car accident, breaks his leg, sits there. Oh, okay. I got to be more fearless. I got to go out in this world. It takes his robes off and goes and becomes a Western man and literally probably one of the most prolific teachers of this modern time, So I think a big part of this lifetime is to become fucking fearless, and there are things that are real, so to say, but at the same time, this is the cosmic joke of the spiritual journey is that it's all ephemeral and it's all changing. And it's all going to be gone tomorrow anyways, and that's lightness and that's enlightenment, and how to take things, how to laugh at adversity right in the face, how to like literally, when something bad happens, how to like somehow duck and weave under it and say, okay, this is what wanted to happen, all right, I can handle this, let's move on, and again, it's paintball. How many times have such nonsense things happened in the game that you literally in the moment, oh my God, we just got a red flag and we're down 2 points and there's 50 seconds left to go, and it seems like it's the end of the world, right? And if you treat it like it's the end of the world and like it's serious and like it's real, the other team wins and you go home, and at the end of the day, whatever. But if you don't, you somehow switch and you go and you get that 15-second point, and you have a diving catch into the end, and you try your best, and at the last second the ref tells you still you didn't win, so penalty. So the thing is you got to really, it comes back to that, that Rusty saying, be brand new in every moment, and
yeah,
when something hurts, like, yeah, I think it's also okay to feel pain or feel, like my friend just passed away the other day.
Right.
He was old. He was in his, he was like almost into his 80s, and he's just a total legend. And, like I got the news that he had a cosmic change of address, and I said, and then I was like, what would he do? Like, how would he want me to experience this? And I just really like relaxed into it. And I just, I sent a message back to his girlfriend. I said, I'm sad, but I'm just also really happy, like really happy, because this is all I can really do is celebrate them. I felt it for a moment. I felt the pain, and then I celebrated it, So it's good to feel those difficulties, but also, mourn it and let it go, as quickly as you like, and move on, because man, life is taking us, man. Reality is hitting us in the face every day, and I love it. And that's the warrior, like I'm here, I got samurai swords and nunchucks and, whatever it is that's coming to me, and I'm slicing it to bits, as it's coming to me, and I'm laughing at it in the meantime, and I'm planting flowers because I got my lover activated also, I'm planting flowers along the way, It's like a samurai. You know what they used to do? Man, they would literally train all day. They'd march for days, like pilgrimages, and they'd have all their attire on, ready for combat at any moment. Because in Japan at that time, like, someone could jump out of the tree and it's on. You can't have your helmet off and be walking hundreds of miles. You got to have that thing on, ready. And they would just pull over on the side of a tree, and they'd write a poem. Fold it up, stick it in their samurai gear and keep walking, So kind of that story is like, man, be a warrior and be a lover, and let that transcend into the next archetypes of your being. But I think you can't really have the lover until you have the warrior, because the warrior needs to protect you and needs to take you there and needs to show you how to wake the fuck up and activate and, put your gear on and start walking, or get into battle right away, and the battle's going on all the time. But how do you weave the love into it, It's a perfect example is your kids, I mean, I don't have kids, so I always, I speak from just observation in this sense, but, I watch kids play and how they, their parents, like, are doing such a good job on just allowing them to be absolute maniacs, and because you have a little bit of love in there also, if you didn't have the lover and you stop doing that, the day's over, go to your room, but you're like, you realize who they are and you realize what they are. You realize that they're kids and they're playing and, this is how they move through the world, so how can you do that with your life and everything else?
And it's
Oliver,
astounding
what do you
how fast it goes too, like the little kid aspect, because every day they change, literally every day, and it's amazing.
Oliver, what do you think is out there? Have you followed on Instagram or on anything, the James Webb Telescope they just launched that are taking these insane photos of the thousands of galaxies and how massive the universe is? And we're finally like kind of seeing it for the first time. Like, what's your feeling on all that?
Well, it's slightly like there's a care and there's a not care, there's like an interest, because I've seen how vast this place is through visions and dreams and, personal experiences. But to me, all that doesn't matter, it's so inconsequential. Also, it can matter in a sense to teach you how small you are and how minuscule you really are, and in a way that can humble you. And you need humbleness in this lifetime to really be able to navigate swiftly through it. But I'm more focused on how to treat my neighbor. This is like, the old Jesus saying, love thy neighbor. It's like, who cares what's out there? I think we're surrounded and bombarded by extraterrestrials. In fact, I think we are them to a certain degree, at some time or another,
Sure.
Something happened and we evolved, and they're probably everywhere. And there's probably such a vastness to this universe that is so incomprehensible to our being. So what does it matter? Like, what matters is how do I treat you, and how do I do the dishes, and how do I show up for this world every day, and how do I, evolve myself to the best. That's what really matters to me. There's such a innocence in the simplicity of this humanness, and there's also a vastness and a complexity. But if we get so, we live in a time where it's like there's so much information, there's so much right and wrong and good and bad, and there's this and that, and it's like, man, it's just like sit here and just listen, feel all the flavor, taste all the flavors, right? You can eat a dish and taste spicy and sweet and salty and all these things at once. Like, how come we can't just have it all right here? Like, why does it have to be this one or this one? The dish is sweet and it is salty and it is bitter. And it is crunchy and it is soft. So it's like it's everything all at once. And I think there's a new movie out that's something like that called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and supposedly it's mind-boggling. But to answer your question, Marcelo, there's just too much information out there, and it's overloading.
It makes me,
and it takes away my energy. And I'm a strict, disciplined, multidisciplinary on how to conserve my energy so I can show up to this reality the best that I fucking can. And that's my mission. And that's what I would propose for other people to do, and not get lost in the fucking weeds on what the fuck's going on out there, because you will never know, and we will never know. Just the bottom line, there's too much to know out there, and too much to it's too big to comprehend. I had a medicine journey a long time ago when I said, tell me what it means to be God. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life, because my whole body could not take the experience that was being just absolutely flooded by this thing. And I was like, well, that was really, I almost short-circuited myself, And so it's like, I need to be more basic. And, the basic warrior is just honestly the deal that we need to do. And in the future, when we die and we go on and maybe you have all the infinite answers that you'll ever have and ever need, you can ask then. Right now, it's much more simple, man.
I think it's
I
astounding.
think it reinforces the idea of soul clusters. And to me, like, seeing that image it didn't remove me from the present. It actually made me feel more present than I think I felt in a long time, because it made me feel like I know you've talked about soul clusters before. I've talked about it to people, and the idea is all the way back from the Big Bang. You're these particles that have been traveling through space and time since the beginning of time, And so when you meet somebody and you have a connection with somebody that you're like, I don't understand why, but I just feel like I've known you my whole life, or even in previous lives, or deja vu. We can't explain deja vu. What the hell is deja vu? There's times where I am in a situation and I can literally narrate what's going to happen because the deja vu is so strong, and then it happens. And I'm like, what is that? How do you explain that? I'm not a psychic. I don't, it doesn't make any sense. Have I experienced this, or like is this my physical body in this realm, but I'm also doing this infinite number of times, multiverse theory, that kind of stuff just fascinates me. And it makes me actually feel like, not that we're minuscule, but that we're actually bigger than ever. And maybe this is just one feeling of a big organism of Marcelo, and maybe I'm in all sorts of areas and we're connected to everyone. I'm connected to you and the earth, the trees and the stars. And to me, it does the opposite of making you feel minuscule. I feel like we're massive. I feel like we're this huge, growing, connected thing. And I think it's an unbelievable way to be present and be appreciative of everything. That was my perspective of it.
No, I love that, and it's good to get the different perspectives, because yours is very valid and very beautiful and poetic also. So it's, again, this is why we're here. We're here to have compare and contrast, and to learn from each other. You just taught me. You gave me a different feeling on this, and I appreciate that. And that's what we're here. We're partners in comparison,
The thing that's so profound to me is that it's equally infinite inwardly too. So when we look out into the vastness of space, it's equally as vast going in, like into the particles of our cells and into the other way, which makes me think, whoa, there's a lot of space in between my cells, and like in between what I think is this dense thing, this dense body is actually vastly expansive in between it all. And there's so much going on there in that expansion that, you know, with the power of thought and light and food and water and all of these amazing naturally occurring miracles, that we can like heighten, you know, ourselves through that vastness on the inward as well, which blows my mind.
Look, whatever it is that's going to make you expand, do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yes.
when you look at something
Good point.
and you have these conversations, like this is what it's about, man. It's about you, me, us getting together and having these conversations going, oh, when I see this, this is what happens. Oh, when I see this, this is what happens. Oh, but you know, and then we can keep going and we can leave expanded, you know, and at the end of the day, we don't know, we won't know. We can have a feeling, we can have maybe some sort of intuitive understanding of it. But at the end of the day, we still don't know. I still have to treat you like I would like to treat myself, you know? So that's all I was saying with my opinion on that, Marcelo, is that there is a vastness and there is a magnificent, you know, God structure out there and in there, Tyler, you know, and I don't know it. Honestly, I don't know it. I don't know if I need to know it. I do know that I need to just show the fuck up every day and be the best that I could possibly be for everybody, and most importantly myself, you know. And that's like the most simplest silver lining in that, you know, to answer that.
Absolutely.
Well, I love what you said about start with, at the bare minimum, start with being a good neighbor. Like that is humanity at its best. Like to protect and save and love humanity. That's it. Be a good neighbor.
Friends,
just
man,
simply be a good treat. Yeah.
My whole thing is friendship, man. Like I don't want to be your dad. I don't want to be your mentor. I just want to be your friend, man. Because a friend can come at you. A friend can come at you, you know, and he can give it to you, you know, like as a mentor or a dad, I'm going to be like, oh, you know, well, son, oh, but as a friend, I'm there for you, you know, like my best friends, you know, even like we don't talk all the time, but we can just pick it right up and you can trust me and I can trust you and you can tell me, hey, Oliver, look, you know, I seen you've been doing this and this kind of a little bit out of integrity and alignment. And I suggest, you know, you investigate that and look at that and potentially change that. And I go, wow, thanks, man. I didn't see that, you know,
You're right, though.
You just made me a better person, you know, thank you.
Well, you can shoot the shit with your friends and you can like be brash and you can just have fun with it all. You know, you don't have to feel so like coveted or like you have to be a certain way when, and we all know what that's all about, you know, like,
but let's be real with our friends and let's be honest and let's not let's not do it to hurt each other. We're doing it to make each other more expansive, you know, like I want you to expand me, bro, expand me. Like, you know, and you do, you know, and sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's just by being in close correspondence with someone where your heart just opens up and you're just more expansive, you know. I can't explain it. We didn't even talk, you know, we just sat next to each other and drank some tea, you know, and it's that simple, you know. And how the Osho again says something interesting. He says, you know, if you leave this life with one good friend, you've done a good job. So be a good friend, be multiple good friends, you know, like I want to be everybody's really good friend, you know, and I really actually pride myself in that. If I died today, I could say, man, I'm a good friend, you know, like I'm there for you, you know, I can show up for you and I can talk to you and I can, you know, bring honesty and clarity and, you know, equal judgment. It's like, you know, there's value in that. So, you know, Hafez is one of my favorite poets, and he always talks about the friend. You know, friend it's like he talks about God as his friend. You know, but it's like he's his friend. You know, so I like that. You know, it just be a good friend, man. Simple.
Be a good friend. Be a good neighbor. It's huge. Again, like the plumbers that came over, I actually gave them a gift. I gave him one of the gel blaster guns.
That's
cool. Has a young daughter who apparently loves cops and robbers. The conversation got brought up, so I gave him a gel blaster. He's already texted me. His name's Xavier. Sorry for putting you on blast. He's already texted me about, you know, making sure to call and go through the warranty process, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, dude, I want to be this person's friend. Like
Totally.
I feel that. And
Totally.
it's anywhere I go, if I go to Jamba Juice to get a smoothie, like I want to be friends with the person that is serving the smoothie or
Totally.
taking my order.
Totally.
Like there's no greater reward than connecting with people.
That's right. And what
I truly believe that. I think
what you give is what you'll get, you know? So look, you gave
Right,
that gun a
of
gel
course.
blaster, you know? It was just a nice gesture. And now he's giving back. He's like, oh man, you know? So it's all about what we can give, you know? And that's actually another code on money, you know? It's like, you know, I'm going to buy you a water heater. I don't know what will happen, but I just give you a water heater.
No, you're not going to buy me a water heater.
Now something comes back to me. I don't ask for it, but it just does. You know, no. If money's an issue with the water heater, Hormesis is buying you a water heater, bro. And you got to accept what the universe has given you. Okay, even if it's a penny.
Dude, Hormesis has been a godsend. We're good, baby. Hormesis is the shit. Hormesis is the best thing that's happened to my paintball career, I think.
Yeah, Ollie, you gotta
come
to World Cup or one of these events. We need to see you at the Hormesis booth, and you need because the people are going wild at these events.
I wanna wear like sunglasses and like a hat and like get a trench coat and like walk around and be like, Hormesis, you want some Hormesis?
That's what Alex does. He's just the god. He rolls out his bag. It's unbelievable. That's been like actually one of the coolest things as well, is to just watch Alex morph into a god.
Dude, Alex is the man. You know, I told Alex, I was like, yeah, I'm coming on to the show. He goes, yeah, make sure you make fun of me. You know that. And I'm like, dude, he's so strong that he can actually like, you know, look, you guys are probably going to talk about some shit about some people, you know, make sure to make fun about me, you know, like, but because he's so strong that he can't even get affected by it, you know, and that's real strength, you know, like that's real strength when somebody can say something about you and you're like, you know, brush it off and you're like, you know, if something stings you, you're like, oh, wait a second, what the fuck did that guy say about me? You know? So I mean, Alex is one of the best, man. Like I've learned also that and you guys are doing this with each other as partners, you know, you really need to be on the same page. You really need to be aligned. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to move this sport into the next trajectory and we're going to take this industry over by storm in the next 10 years, by what I mean by that is, you know, new companies, you know, new formats, new products, new inventions, new broadcasting systems. Like everybody's got to activate. This isn't just, it's not just Archie and Oliver and Marcelo and Tyler. Like this is everybody. If you're in the community and you've got a slight inkling of an idea of something, bring it to fruition, you know? So we need to move this into the next sphere. And the way we do this is through partnership, you know? And I've realized how valuable, because I've had difficulty with partnership in my other previous businesses before, even somewhat currently with my flotation tank. And the thing is, you know, it's like I work with Alex and it's like, it's so smooth, you know, it's like, hey, I want to do this. He's like, hey, I want to do this. Hey, what do you think of this idea? Let's do it. You know, or maybe we do it like this. Oh yeah, that's a better way, you know? So it's like, it's so giving, you know, and there's so much trust and there's so much bond in it that it makes it almost unbreakable, you know, and we have such deep clarity where we're like, hey, look, you know, this isn't going to get in the way of this, you know, this isn't going to get in the way of the way that we relate, you know, like we need to talk and have these communications and, you know, be really clear and on the same page with each other. And it is, man. And it's literally like the best partnership. I literally look more forward to looking at my phone to see if Alex has messaged me than anybody, you know. Oh, did he message me?
It's funny, man. It's how it is with Tyler.
No, he didn't message me.
Being Tyler's business partner has made me a better person. That PTG doing this with Tyler has made me a better person. You know, it's
right back totally at you, dude. That. It's been awesome. The whole adventure, and
you guys are so good, man. Like honestly, you guys don't even really know what you guys are doing for this community. Like I don't think you know. You guys are doing a tremendous service for this whole paintball thing, you know, and keep evolving it and keep pushing the boundaries, you know, do this like no other people have done this before, you know, like literally this is the ethos of this whole conversation and of Hormesis and paintball. It's like, man, play your style, do it your way, create it the way you want it to be created. You know, who says there's rules? You know, this is back to the Pablo Picasso quote. You know, like, let's shatter the rules and let's evolve this thing into the next thing that it wants to be, you know? And let's support each other along the way, even if it's crazy.
Yes.
Even if it's crazy.
Yes.
Even if I say, look, we're going to make paintball fashion a worldwide thing where everybody's going to dress like paintball players. And, you know, like, what does that even look like? I don't know. Like, I'm pulling the shit out of my ass.
It's like
trying to, like, I'm like, well, when was paintball cool? Okay, well, paintball was pretty cool, like, when it started, and they wore these military jackets, and, man, like, Chris Soy, these guys were cool when they wore these hats, and they had this thing, and, you know, and I'm like, I like collared shirts. Okay, well, let's just blend it all together, you know? And then let's see what happens, you know? And let's see who shows up, with another design mind to say, hey, you know, what about this? And I said, oh, that's nice. Yeah, let's do
I can
this.
already see this Hormesis attire on Saks Fifth Avenue, you know, just taking over the game. Yeah.
Kyle's gonna get called into Nordstrom's. You're gonna get called in to sell it again during the holidays.
I was trying to hire Kyle. I was trying to hire Kyle as our, like, you know, new young fashion designer, and then he went and played with Impact and, like, you know, did his own thing, which is super cool. And I hope that it expands and grows. Also, you know, like, we're all about everybody doing everything. You know, like, you know, we're all supportive of everybody. Really, that's really, like, the coolest thing about Hormesis is we're like, oh, you like us or you don't want to wear us? I'm slightly offended that Tyler doesn't wear us, but I get that he's sponsored by the Band-Aid brand, so he's got to wear the Band-Aid brand.
He can't.
But one day he will, and we're gonna get him laced up, and he's gonna be stoked, and, you know, we're gonna get him paid, and it's gonna be a win-win.
Those are ancient
I still
Band-Aids.
have. You remember ancient Band-Aids? I still have. Oliver, remember when I came to Thailand, you gave me a couple headbands?
Yeah.
They were like the original Hormesis, but they definitely weren't Hormesis. They had different tags. They were like it was a different brand. I forget what.
They were like the first kind of, like, experimentation. Yeah, like, but that was also
I forgot what it was called
before. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, Ziza or like.
Ziz was the friend that helped me design them. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also understand.
I still have that. I'm like, that's a collector.
That is a collector's item. But I also understand, Tyler, you know, headbands are a personal thing, and, you know, you put a lot of energy into headbands. And that's why I also think the headband is such a insane product because, I mean, you know, you wear it around your head, you know, it kind of, you know, it becomes you, you know. So if you've got headbands that you've been wearing for 10 years, like, you know, you got to keep wearing them. I get it, you know. I mean, I did that for a long time too, you know. But you still look like you have Band-Aids on your heads.
Thank you. They're beautiful Band-Aids, and I appreciate them. I really do.
I'm like, damn, look at Tyler. He's so good, but damn, does he have a Band-Aid on his head?
You know, like Nelly. I'm trying to throw it. You remember Nelly?
Yeah,
Nelly.
You remember Nelly?
Just call me Nelly. So these bands that I wear are like timeless little relics, and absolutely love the style and everything that you and Eggies have poured into the branding and you know, the collaborations. It's been spectacular to watch from day one, watching you guys work, and I'm really excited for the future of what you guys are doing. You guys are making amazing products, and do you guys have any plans for, you know, the 2022 season, or any big stuff that you have popping that that you're looking to debut here, or any news you can break here?
Hit us with some news, dude. Hit us with some breaking news. Come on.
Okay, you want some news, huh?
Hey.
Yeah, we want some breaking news, dude.
Okay, well, I should consult Alex about this, but I'm gonna.
He said yes.
I'm gonna get the okay. Yeah, we're all gonna laugh about it later. Well, we hired probably one of the most dominant, most badass designers that you could ever imagine. That works for Hormesis. So we've expanded beyond Alex and I, and this guy is an absolute legend of the game. Maybe I'll just let you guys think about who it is, because that can be kind of interesting too. But an absolute legend of the game, Marcelo. You have played with him, okay?
Is it Brian Benini? No,
I've played with him. I've played with him, and he's a master. He's excellent. He's going to take us into the new trajectory of the lines that we're going to go into. What I'm making is very boutique, you know, and the way that I like to operate is I'd rather make something really cool, niche, boutique. I mean, we're using natural dye, which is like unheard of. Like that shirt you're wearing, Marcelo. You cannot buy that in LA. You cannot. in fact, if you go to LA and go to every men's boutique and you find something similar to that, I'll give you $1,000. You cannot find it. Nobody makes this type of print anymore. It's actually outdated. Like even in Indonesia, I had the light bulb went off where I was like, I live in Indonesia. Batik is like the national heritage of textiles here. And I would go to these.
Is it Chris Caruso?
Look, you can think about it. I'm not going to answer because I like more of the mystery. Okay. And and I was going to these big shops and like looking for these amazing shirts. And I'm like, man, all this stuff is fake. You know, it's like it's screen printed or digitally printed, even in Indonesia. And I'm like, how come I live in Indonesia and I can't get a Batik shirt? Like, it made me upset. So then I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to make these things. I got to find the stamp master, and the stamp master is like, it's just like, you know, he's like third generation lineage of stamp mastering. So what they do is they actually build a copper stamp. If you look at the Hormesis website, you'll see it says Hormesis at the top. That's actually a copper Batik stamp. And what you do is you take that, you put that onto a hot iron with melted wax, beeswax, okay? And you let it sit for a little bit until it gets hot. And you have to use like a protection on your fingers because it's too hot. And then you take it and you literally, each one of these is a stamp, a handmade stamp from somebody's hand going like this, tipping it in the wax and stamping it on the shirt, dipping in the wax, stamping it on the shirt, dipping in the wax, stamping. So how many are on your shirt right now? Maybe 200, you know?
Man.
So that's has 200 touches of a human being. Not to mention it's natural dye, which is almost unobtainable these days. You cannot buy natural dye. And if you look at the garment industry, it's disgusting. Like there's rivers of black and blue and dye, just, you know, devastating rivers and cows and fish and stuff. It's like this natural dye place literally goes into this little pond, and this pond sits there for some time, and it's got all this, you know, lotuses and hydrangea, or not hydrangea, another type of flower. And there's fish flowing in there, and there's dragonflies, and there's frogs, right? And it's like, and then it goes into the dirt, and it's just natural process. So it's like not to mention, once you take the material and you stamp it and then you dye it, literally we burn it under a live fire, like a real burning flame. This you can't even have this in America, you know? Like, so there's literally wood being burned under a big cauldron, and they put the material in there and they dip it and they dip it and they dip it, and until all the wax is burned off, and then they reveal it, and then you have this material, you know, the way it is. So it's a full alchemical process. So I can't be in Saks Fifth Avenue, you know, I just can't. But I don't really want to. I just want to get people wearing nice, fresh, high vibe clothing, natural dye, you know, this old ancient Batik stamp system. And man, if I make a couple thousand of them and a couple thousand people wear them and they wear them into infinity, great. Or maybe they wear them for 1 year and then they bury them, and, you know, it's a donation back to nature. Great. You know, like it feels good when you wear it. The bands have definitely a magical aspect to it. There's no doubt in that. And that's a combination of many things.
Look what happened since we started wearing those things.
Dude, it's insane how good Dynasty is. Now, I'm not saying that has anything to do with Hormesis. You guys are on another level. But I would like to, you know, personally feel.
I think it's all Hormesis.
I feel like there's a slight, you know, there's a little bit of me in there, you know. And I think that's for everybody who wears one also, you know. There is, you know, I'm touching every single one of those. You know, every Hormesis headband that's out there has come through my hand personally. You know, like I've looked at them, I designed them.
Let's not send Tyler any.
Next to, well,
he doesn't need. He doesn't need any more magic. No more powers.
Well, you know, early when I was on Dynasty and you guys started the project, I have some relics as well. Yeah, I have some relics there, and they're it's just spectacular, the progression. And I have to ask, what was it like coming back to the United States? You recently came back to USA to film for, I believe, for the Iron Kids documentary. What was that experience like?
Well, Alex said it the best. He said that this is our art project, and so like we live by that rule, right? And we're just making art. Like like I just made actually a short movie, you know, with the okay of Alex.
That's right.
Saw that.
I said,
Yeah.
I want to make
Can't
a
wait
movie.
to watch. That's
I
so
said, I got a
sick.
story. I want to make a movie. Let's do it. He says, okay. So the Iron Kids was spawned obviously because, you know, the way that the trajectory of this headband company has gone was, what happened was I you know, left, and then I looked and I saw that people were still desiring Iron Kids headbands. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. So why don't I make an Iron Kids headband? And then we made them, and they were a success. And then Alex and I were like, well, what if we made another round of them, but we made a documentary with that money? I said, that's a great idea. You know, let's do that. So I made another round of them. Those are the Magic Lamp Iron Kids headbands. If you got any of them out there, anybody who bought that actually directly funded this documentary, which is an art project. And it was actually really beautiful because I hadn't been back in America for almost 6 years or something, you know? And, you know, it was my coming home. It was my reconnecting with all my old friends and, you know, reconnecting with Alex. And then obviously we did the Iron Kids documentary, was just beautiful because it's like, man, you know, everybody's just different now. You know, I got to see BC, you know, and Opie and, you know, Skinny Kevin. And, you know, you guys get to see some of those guys more often than I do, but I don't, you know, so it was really special. And, yeah, you know, I was just kind of touching back in with my land, and I know that I have to come back one day, and I know that I have a bigger mission and a bigger purpose that's unfolding there, especially with the paintball community. Maybe it's the paintball Shambhala or Shangri-La. I don't know. But I just went to go see the land and see how it feels and see what it was like after this whole COVID situation. And, you know, I just went to all the places where I thought I could maybe live. So it was just a nice homecoming, you know. It was really beautiful. And I have a Westphalia van, so I got to drive through and I got to camp. And I went to Yosemite. I went to Tahoe. I went to New Mexico. Actually drove through Phoenix one night. Tyler, I thought about you.
I saw you were in Sedona.
Yep,
up there.
Sedona for a week,
Yeah.
and there's a master teacher that I follow that's out there, and I got the chance to meet with him for a week, which was pretty cool. And then I
love that.
Then I drove through at the night through Phoenix, and I was like, man, maybe I should call Tyler, but it's like so late,
Dude,
and I was
yes.
driving for so long, and I just pushed to Palm Springs and crashed there.
Yeah, that place is a portal up there in Sedona. It's an absolute space machine. I don't even know how to put my finger on it. It's unbelievable. Just the energy that's permeating out of that red rock, and with the water coming down from the mountains north of it is just truly spectacular in there.
Yeah, America's beautiful, man. America's got so much beauty, so much wonder, so much mystery, so much mystique, you know. And I feel like because we're living in a clouded time where people are kind of, you know, quote unquote, waking up and seeing the atrocities that have happened, and you know, we still live in this black and white world, which is, you know, another part of the game. You know, if you're still living in black and white or yes and no, it's you're not passing through. You know, like we're above and beyond any color and gender and shape and form. And it's like, you know, we really, again, you know, just love our neighbor. You know, and you know, like America's probably the best place in the world, and I've seen it. I've seen the world. You know, and there's a lot of beautiful parts of the world, but America, man, is special. So if you're American, get out there, you know, go see it, you know, go love it. And honestly, the temperament of the Americans when I was there was really nice, really lovely. You know, like I had really nice interactions with people, like cordial interactions, you know, like people holding the door, people holding the door for me at the gas station as I come out. I'm like, thanks, brother. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's so much beauty
special.
in the simplicity, and be that guy, you know, like again, Marcelo, you know, you gave the guy a gift. It's like, just, man, go above and beyond and open the door for somebody and do like you did with your kids, you know. It's like, that's just the magic, man. If everybody did that all the time, every day, we just live in a really beautiful world, man. Yeah.
And even like when you open the door and someone doesn't say thank you or anything, you still can have a smile, you know?
Because you have you have compassion for them and what they're going through, and realizing that they're in that state of being, and they're hooked on a feeling that isn't good, and they're not letting it go, you know. And you're like, oh, okay,
their water heater just broke.
Their water heater broke, and they're taking it really serious. You know.
I want to talk to you about the film you did. The name, is it Mojud?
Yeah, Mojud. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really special. that is going to be dropping, I think, in the next few months. I believe that's correct. And kind of give us the scoop on that. What was that like? You had a character in it. You got to have your clothing line in it. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a win-win all around. Well, what happened was maybe about 8 years ago, I went to the Osho Center again in Pune, India, and and it's like it's a total wild place. It's like when Osho was dying, he had these big premonitions of what needed to occur, and he started to like make this happen quick. So he built this like epic meditation facility, and there's like giant pyramid, and his ashes are in the Lao Tzu room, and it's all marble. It's really special place. Yeah. Even if you don't like Osho or if you don't like meditation, it's a good place to go and just check out. But I became friends with the vice president, and the vice president's name is Krishna Prem. And he just liked me, like we just hit it off. And he was one of Osho's first kind of disciples, I guess, in a sense, like in the early 70s.
No way.
And he was one of the first guys who told Osho, hey, we got to go to America, right? And so people might know Osho from this wild, wild country. And, there's a little bit of grossness in there, but the magic that this man has woven is still unweaving. And it's even part of what this message is that came across from Mojud is you have to realize that it's not always beautiful, that there's a little bit of difficulty for things to get out and expand the way they need to expand, right? You know how a lobster, what a lobster does? So when he's expanded his shell and he's in so much pain, he literally just goes into the hole, sheds his whole lobster shell, and then grows back grows a new lobster shell. And it's fucking painful, and it's kind of ugly and scary. So we have to realize that so is growth. Yeah. And so back to my point is that Krishna Prem gave me this book, and he said, look, okay, here's this book. It's like a thin book. And he's like, this is for you. You can't buy this here. And you have to read it, and you have to live like this guy. And that was my like transmission, I was like, okay. So I read the book, and the essential synopsis, to not go into the full depth of it, is that it's a man's journey from, I guess, essentially ignorance into an enlightenment form. Yeah. And it's basic. So the story is quite simple. And that's the point of the story, is that actually we can all do this. So it's not fantastic. It's not fabricated. It's not a Hollywood show with a bunch of CG. So it's just this guy's life. And every time he gets really comfortable in one place, his inner voice shows up as this Sufi saint named Kadir and says, hey, time to go, on to the next thing. Go here and do this. And then Mojud, the name of the movie, goes, okay. And he like gets up and he listens to his inner voice and he goes to the next thing. And essentially that just happens time and time again until he becomes pretty much a Yoda, So I got the book, I read it, I lived it. Actually, part of me leaving paintball was the inner voice told me to go on to the next thing, and so on and so forth. I've lived multiple versions of Mojud, and this movie making is actually just a part of my Mojud, is a part of my experience of learning how to do something, and then, maybe it'll expand, maybe it'll go into more bigger film projects, whatever it is. Maybe it's over, I don't know, But the point is I had to do it because it helped me, and I have to deliver this message for other people. And in the process, we got to weave in the Balinese culture, which is obviously very dear and close to me. So we casted all Balinese people, and we funded them, and so it's a little bit of offering to the Balinese culture. Also, I'm going to dedicate this to Krishna Prem. He's in his advancing years, so it's a little bit of a memento to him, and also to the Hormesis community, because they're essentially helping fund this project, and also help funding my creativity. So I'm not having kids. I've chosen to not go that path currently. And, but those creative juices are coming through, the force is like fighting through me. So I'm just on fire in a sense of like, when I have an idea, now we got a little bit of capital to be able to invest in it from Hormesis, and Alex is down with that. And he's like, do it, So we're going to have more of these projects. And this is, again, our big art project. In fact, we're going to come to Phoenix, Tyler, in November for a next big project. Yeah. And
I'm there.
Maybe you're.
Are you kidding me?
But you might have to wear. No, you don't have to wear Hormesis. You can wear whatever you want. Wear bandits.
Dude, this is amazing. I can't wait to see you.
You can wear
this is
Hormesis
great
shirts.
news. And I love. You know what I love so much, Ollie, is that that you're doing film, because I know when we played together how much you had wanted to get into film in some way. You know, and you're such a marvelous person in being able to bottle emotion and bottle passion and like we talked about, transmuting energy and you know, really being able to show people through creative muses how to transcend themselves and become a better version of themselves. And I think through this craft, through movies and the arts and the drawings and the dancing and all these creative pathways, that you're going to open up so many hearts, and in turn, like you said, it's full circle. It opens your heart wide open, totally. and it's just this huge orchestra coming together.
Well, what you guys are probably starting to feel is like, you know, there's a stage in your life where you have to be competitive because you learn a significant amount in competitive actions, whether it be sports or competitive, whatever it is. But then you get to a place where, you know, I don't want competitiveness anymore. You know, like I literally, I can't compete in the NXL because I want you to win, you know, but at the same time, I'm supposed to be winning. So how am I supposed to do that? You know? So that's the switch into creativity, you know, from competition into creativity, you know, and from exclusivity to from exclusivity into inclusivity is creativity. So my path now is creativity, and essentially movie is made to move you. It's to evoke an emotion from you to make you feel, you know, and there are great lessons in a lot of movies, and there's a lot of bad lessons in a lot of bad movies. So again, you have to, like, you know, but there is always probably something in there if you can excavate it. So essentially, storytelling, movies is storytelling, you know, and we have a lot of great stories to be told here. You know, we're on a lifelong story. You know, this Mojud is essentially like the first synopsis of a lifelong story being told. And if it inspires people, and if it turns into something greater, great. Or if it inspires me to write something more prolific, great. You know, so it's all stepping stones. You know, and again, dude, we're just having fun along the way. You know. And it's also beautiful because Alex is really getting into movies too, you know, like he was like so all about the documentary. The thing is with the documentary was that it's our story and we're telling it, but like we also hired a production company and a director. So like when you have those things, they kind of handle a lot of things. Whereas in like for me, just to do Mojud now, like I had a director and I had a production company, but I also, you know, I had to do a lot more. And so I was much more involved, and there's a lot of wealth in those little kind of tedious aspects of the job. And you learn from them, you know, and I learned a lot from this Mojud. And now Alex is getting into it, and he wants, you know, he was very inspired by Warren Miller growing up as a ski movies. And they made these movies that make you feel like, man, I got to go skiing, you know? And it was just picturesque, and it was very surreal and beautiful and whimsical. And you know, that's essentially what the project is that we want to do when we come to Arizona. Is we want to film a very lifestyle based paintball video. That's not a tournament. That's not a who won and who's gonna beat who. But it's more like, hey man, this is a really cool lifestyle to be living. Playing, you know, we're going to rent a house. We're going to play a lot of paintball. I'm actually going to come play. So that's going to be kind of part of the story is like, I'm coming back, but I'm not going to play on Dynasty. We're just going to do some playing, you know, it'll probably be more 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s. And, you know, we're going to invite a couple people who are, you know, old legends, and we're going to see how we fare out against you guys who are still at the tip of the spear, you know.
LB is going to be out there for sure. Huh?
No, LB is going to be there. Rusty's going to be there. we're gonna get them, and it's gonna be like
Nice.
me and LB versus you and Tyler, and let's see if we can beat you.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
you guys
this
would go
is
down.
amazing.
You guys would go down. You guys would go down. You don't want that
I guess
smoke.
we'll find out, and if so, great. And
I remember the way you used to play one-on-ones, Oliver. You can't trick me, baby.
I've adapted my one-on-one skills. I've been playing the Balinese.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you're an animal.
Yeah.
You're an absolute animal on the paintball field. And for anybody, like you said, you stepped away from the game 6-7 years ago. And for this new generation who doesn't know Oliver and hasn't really had the time to see him navigate a paintball field, I mean, nobody navigated it the way you did. An absolute animal on the field, and the way that you brought the best out of people as well, is astounding to watch. And we're so lucky for the generations that had you on the field and, even off the field, and the things you did off the field. It was just really cool to see the way that you really expunged every ounce of the best of each person from within the organization. And now through your projects, you're still doing that and still having such a big effect in the game is it's timeless, man. And the story goes on. The saga continues, the Ollie saga continues.
Oh, you guys rock, man. I'm so like, it's such a pleasure to see you guys doing it, what you're doing, and know that I have like a little bit of inspiration within you guys, and you guys are pouring that into the next generations, So that's the real goal.
Oliver, you'd be proud of the next generation. There's some young kids that are just absolute studs, dude.
I'm sure
they're primed, they're excited, they're just fundamentally they have everything at their fingertips, right? So it's like they're so hungry for it, And growing up, it was like we didn't have as much as they have now to learn and consume. But there's some dope kids coming up.
Well,
man.
like even like my generation, Ryan, Yosh, Alex, and Kenny Clamper, and maybe one other person I can't even think about. That's 6 kids, And then there was you guys,
Yeah.
There was you two, there was Alex Goldman, there was a few of these other guys, and then now like
Dalton, let's not forget about Dalty.
Well, Dalton was a little bit younger than you guys, right? Wasn't he?
Dalton's older than me.
Really? But Dalton was all.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of all of us.
Dalton's definitely a G. Dalton gets all the credit forever for everything. But for some reason, I thought
late
Dalton
bloomer though.
He was a little late bloomer or something like that. I can't remember.
He was a late bloomer. Yeah, we give him shit all the time. Speaking of paintball fashion, he tells this story to this day. Me and Mouse were like, he was at one of our practices, aftermath practices, when he first came to try out. And we were walking through the SC Village tunnels. You remember like the yellow bars, the tunnels that had the fields on each side. And he was behind us and we didn't know he's behind us. And we were talking shit on his stupid Sandana. We were like, who is his Sandana so stupid? Why is he can't play for us. He looks so stupid. And me and Mouse don't remember this until he reminded us, or we didn't remember it until he reminded us. But Dalton held that all the way until like recent years. He's like, dude, you guys hurt my feelings so much. I came to try out, thought I had a good day. And then we're walking back and we just hear you guys talking shit about how my headgear looked.
Yeah, well, Dalton was like, because you guys were already, like, I think you guys were on the Ironman with me at one point where we were like trying to get Dalton, but he was like, still playing amateur. So maybe he's the same age, but he was like, he wasn't playing pro
late
as
bloomer.
quickly as you guys were. Yeah. But Dalton's a beast now, man. Yeah. Dalton's definitely one of my favorite players to watch. Yeah. I mean, he's just like, he's elegant, man. He's like, he's the best.
Yeah. Makes it look easy. He's just smooth.
It's so smooth. He does. He makes it look easier than anybody.
Who do you guys
He makes it look easier than anybody I know.
Who do you got? He does. So who do you think is like the top player these days? But besides, not calling each other out, but like, beyond that, like, humbly, is Dalton? Is it still?
Absolutely.
Is it
Dalton.
what's his name? Does A-Rod even play anymore?
He's taking the season off.
What a loser! Yeah. No,
he's gone through some rough times.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I really like A-Rod, but I really think he's a great player. But he didn't build such good rapport on many teams.
He burned bridges. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic
player.
He'll be back.
Stellar
He'll come
paintball
back.
player.
Well, so who is the top dog these days? You think like or maybe you want to just go for each team, or maybe is there generalization? I just like to know because like in my world, I still see certain people a certain way, but I don't know really how they, like even I messaged Todd when you guys were playing, Tyler, and I was like, what happened to why aren't the Russians playing? Like, are they out? Like what happened? And he's like, well, Fedorov's not here and Mishka wasn't playing good, so I didn't play him. And I guess you only have 2 Russians now?
It's Mishka and Fedi,
Yes.
and unfortunately Fedi couldn't be at the event. And there's a lot of really good paintball players right now. I mean, obviously Archie, Fedorov, Dynasty
is Fedorov there with Archie still? Because I think Archie's on the
Fedorov's nasty.
Still nasty, yeah?
Yeah. Still nasty as ever. Yeah. Just an absolute animal out there.
And so Archie, Fedorov, Dalton.
Dalty's nasty. Yeah. Mouse, of course.
Mouse is still nasty, of course. Who else?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Marcel,
I feel like at the top, it can be so interchangeable with depending on how people are playing. And honestly, Ryan he's magical out there.
Nasty,
he plays great fucking paintball.
Nice.
Ryan.
I was just trying to figure out who the top 5 guys are that I'm going to take for my Hormesis superstar team. I'm just kidding.
You should have me in there.
Okay, I got you, Tyler.
Probably have Tyler in there.
Fedorov, Archie, Ryan, and Dalton.
Mouse.
Do we even need a 7th?
Dalton. No, we don't. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Well, that's good to know, man. And
a wrap.
That's cool. What about who's the young and comer, nipping at the heels of those guys that like maybe I don't know about?
I'm gonna say Kyle Berry.
Kyle Berry.
I'm gonna say Kyle Berry.
Who does he play for?
Yeah, and he's not a flashy player at all. He plays for the ML Kings, and he has. It's funny. I want to make this a thing, and maybe I'm biased. We need to start highlighting the quarterback position. The motherfucking quarterback position on a paintball team takes an incredibly insane skill set to be able to dictate and orchestrate a game plan on the field after the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to tell players on your team what to do and how to do it, and putting players in position to get kills and win the game. We don't. We highlight ones. We highlight.
Sure,
and Archie and I had a great conversation about this. And it's like, okay, who are the best players? Are there players that, we're going down the list of like certain players. I'm like, okay, well, are they good because they're actually good? They understand the game and they can break down situations, or are they good from circumstance?
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like, is it a good layout where you can get to a good spot on the break and shoot 3 people? And so the commentator's like, so-and-so just got 3 kills in that point. And then the next point, he got 2 kills. He got another 2 kills. Like, are the kills the only metric? I truly don't. In paintball, I don't think so.
It's just like
I think there is circumstance in that.
If you are the quarterback and you've actually somehow absolved that title, you're the man. You pass the ball to the running back. You pass the ball to the wide receiver, right? So the thing is like, for instance, like when you're the quarterback, it's almost like you're out of it. Like you're already on another place, and then Fedorov is good, Dalton's good. Okay, this guy's good, right? And maybe when I say who are the best, I'm thinking, me, I like the generalized, well-rounded player. It's like a painting, like I don't want to. This painting might be fantastic, but I don't want it in my house. Like I wouldn't put it in my house. So, and you're right. People get credit for killing a lot of guys, and that it's important to kill them, but there's much more detail into the thing. So like
win the game.
So you're the quarterback. Tyler's the quarterback. Maybe Ryan's the quarterback. Those guys are like almost on another playing. They're on another.
Archie can quarterback.
Well, I think Archie is probably one of the best players now and ever because I think he is so damn versatile. And obviously Ryan's playing. He's tap dancing on lightning bolts, but it's like, will Ryan be the number one? Could you put Ryan as the number one? Maybe he's too valuable. We got to keep him in the back. But if Ryan really wanted to go and take that title, he should go be number one for some time, because because Archie will do it and not even flinch. So to me, Archie is the ace, because he can do it all, right? Tyler, you can do it all. You want me to go to the snake? I can do it. You want me to play the quarterback? I can do it. You want me to play Doritos? You want me to go to the center? I'll do it. So it's like those types of players are almost on another realm, and you know who those guys are, and you're not going to get the credit that you deserve. And that's just the state of the affairs, and
totally.
And everybody else will get some praise because they look good, or they shoot some guys, or they got a fit body, or whatever it might be, So there's a knowing behind the knowing. There's like I heard one time someone said, "Oh, he's the DJ's DJ," and I was like, "What does that mean?" And they're like, "Well, he's like all the DJs know how damn good he is because he's so technical and he's so damn good, but nobody can even hear what he's DJing because it's just beyond them, right? So you need to be the player's player, but you're not going to get the credit that you deserve for that, and maybe that's okay, And actually, if you're really fucking good, you're going to be okay with that, because that there's a much bigger machine being done, you're just you're a part of it, and I want Dalton to go and shoot 5 guys every game. That makes my life a lot easier. Like I want this guy to go in there and do that, but I understand the more you understand the more technical aspects of it, right? And you're not going to get the credit that you deserve, and that's okay, and you got to be okay with that.
Well, Ollie, I can't wait to watch you build this team and go heads up with you. Houston Heat is hungry, and we're coming for it all, baby. Let's go.
Oh, so Tyler's out. Tyler's not on Hormesis.
Is that what you're
team.
doing? You're building?
No. I'm totally kidding. That's not
hypothetically speaking.
No. I wouldn't do that.
Would be fun.
It's not even worth it. I'd rather do something different. Like that's been done before.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dynasty will probably end up still beating you. Dynasty will probably still beat you. Next thing you know, I'm like Sarge.
How is Dynasty still so good?
I don't millions of dollars, and Dynasty's still kicking my ass. I'm like, I'm gonna get them one day.
Oh, they better keep playing great because we're coming for it too. It's one of those things where there's a lot of details as well that go into winning tournaments, and they know that. Everybody knows that, and it's about ironing those out and then playing some good ball out there. So it's fun. It's fun. I like where paintball is at, and I love the competitiveness. I love the stature of everything, and we're excited to play a lot of good paintball.
No, there's a lot of good paintball, but there really wasn't much competition in that last game at that last tournament, I just will say. There really wasn't.
You know what? You're not wrong, Oliver, and we got to work harder.
What do you think it was? Work harder. What do you think it was?
They didn't have some of their players too. You got to think of that.
We got to work harder. That's all there is to it. We didn't get it done, and we got to be better. We got to.
So you think hard work will change it? Because I personally don't agree with that, because I think you have equally as good as a team, if not better than Dynasty. Dynasty is definitely playing on a whole nother spectrum for some reason of something, right? So you think working harder is just going to beat Dynasty? I don't think so, because Dynasty's fucking insanely good right now. So I don't think it's working harder. So I'm trying to understand.
Well, you have to work really hard to get all of the details right in order to put that win together. And all we can do is take it on the chin and become better. I don't really have all the answers. I don't know that I could even begin to display all the answers, but we have to be better in those situations, and that's all there is to it.
Okay, so I'm just trying to learn here. What makes you better? And don't tell me working harder, because I feel like Heat works fucking hard. These guys get paid top dog salary to play paintball. So I don't think it's a working harder factor. I don't think it's a you versus Marcelo as Marcelo above.
So
you
what
above.
Do you think? What do you think it is?
There's an aspect of magic that's involved in this, and that's what I'm trying to understand is why would such a team beat you so easily in the finals as you work your ass off and get paid way more than those guys do. And so there's an energy or a magic or something that's missing in Heat that is not getting it done in the finals. Whereas in Dynasty,
I don't think that there's any less magic that's missing. It's just sometimes every dog has their day. They got that one, and good on them.
I mean, but that was like that wasn't just like it would be if it was like a 1-point game, maybe they have their day. But what I'm saying is if you really want to take this thing to the next level and you want to be super competitive, and you're right, there is nuances that are detailed within the framework of the game that you can work harder to get.
Well,
but I think there's a different gear that maybe you need to turn a little bit, and not on you, bro. I'm not talking about you because I think you're fucking fantastic. And if anybody works harder in this sport, I don't know who it is, but it's the other guys, and you got to get them fired up, and you got to get them tickled, and you got to get them excited. You got to say, look, man, shit. Because honestly, how I feel Heat is tired. I feel like you guys have been going for a long time, and it's been an ongoing unfolding for a long time. And in that match, it looked like Dynasty was rejuvenated and refreshed and fucking eager and just not a care in the world, whereas Heat was like, got to play Dynasty again, So all I'm saying is if you do want to...
Bullshit, I was hyped. Bro, I was hyped to play Dynasty.
I'm not saying you, brother.
But we all were hyped to play Dynasty. It's just like it's
words are words, but there was an outcome of that game that doesn't show me that you guys were hyped to play Dynasty. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be a dick, bro. I'm just I love the competition. In fact, I was almost slightly sad that Dynasty beat you that way. I mean, I was happy, but I was also like, damn, it wasn't even a game. So I'm trying to get you ignited even more so that you can ignite your brothers on your team so that you guys can be even more badass and you guys can even, lead another charge. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be a dick here,
And we're fighting tooth and nail, and we'll be there every step of the way.
Okay. So there's a little gear in there that I think you can shift for a few of those guys that really makes them believe in themselves so that they can beat Dynasty. Because I wouldn't mind seeing that also, I'm a Dynasty fan, but I Dynasty loses sometimes every once in a while too. It's the nature of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I like seeing you win. Like when you went to Heat and you won, I was fucking stoked for you. He deserves that.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
and it's fun, man. Paintball's super competitive and it's super fun. I'm grateful, Ollie. I'm grateful to be in the finals. I'm grateful to be fighting alongside my teammates, and I'm just grateful for this game. And we're going to keep pushing and keep working our asses off to be the best,
Love that, bro. Well, dude, just keep being the best man that you can be, and everything else will come from it, And you know what that's like. You guys are excellent, bro.
It's such the razor's edge. One thing here, one thing there, but what you're preaching right now, Oliver, the belief is the biggest one, especially at the top level. Like the top 4 teams, any of them could win. Talent-wise, they're all the same. It's the same. And it comes down to who is really feeling themselves.
That's right.
Honestly, that's like such a big part of it. Yeah. That confidence, the belief,
that's right.
It's
that feeling.
You're able to tap into something a little bit different.
We went to there. It's that feeling, And again, we've all felt that. We had moments where we won tournaments and we looked at each other and we're like, this is game over. Like these guys,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, the magic. And you can cultivate that, but it does have to be, it's like everybody on Dynasty has got that now. And you're like, which way do you look, and that's threatening, And so Dynasty is definitely operating on a frequency of, I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's excellent. I mean, you guys did suck at the minor, but it was a minor.
It was practice.
It was a minor.
Yeah, I don't know. We had a bad practice. Sorry.
Why'd you guys even go to a minor? I don't understand paintball anymore. I really am trying to understand. Like, there's a minor event, you can go, but you don't win anything, and nobody cares if you win. But if you do win, then it'll fade away.
You get the same points as winning a major. What I will say is I think we were so excited to be able to finally play with you again, and then you let us down so hard
fault.
The first day, like, we didn't recover. We didn't recover Friday, So we had a terrible first day. We were still like heartbroken. We were actually we were late to our first game because we were at the airport waiting for you.
For me, yeah.
And then you didn't show up, so went to baggage claim.
The beautiful thing is just honestly blame it on me as much as possible. Like like when you cheat on your girlfriend and she's pissed at you, it was Oliver's fault. Like throw it at me. I can handle it, bro.
Dude.
Like something the water heater broke, blame it on me, dude. I can take it, bro. I'm solid, you know, like.
Why'd you do that?
Dude, Ollie, how is
that?
Mickey? How is Mickey doing? How's your mom?
Dude, Mickey's a little
Lang.
sage. Yeah, she's amazing. She comes every 3 months, or sorry, she comes for 3 months every year. And so, again, that's
Nice.
a part of my, retirement. That is something that's like it was unknowing, but like I get to spend a lot more time with my mom, you know, and she's advancing into her older ages, and she's still young and she's still got spry and she's spirited, so she's amazing. She still watches, man. She watches Ghost Sports. She loves Dynasty. She loves you, Tyler.
Oh,
She's like, you know,
She's so
always
beautiful.
She's always messaging me. You know, she's really amazing. She got bit by a tick, so she was tweaking a little bit when we were in Northern California, and she was like worried that she had Lyme, and she's going through that, but supposedly it's a yes, and then it's a no, and it's a yes, and then it's a no. But you know, I said, Mom, dude, you're old, like just rip it, you know, like what do you got to lose, you know, like whether you get Lyme or whatever it is, like, you know, you got nothing to lose. Like when I'm old, man, bring it to me, you know, like fuck, you know, like, you know, I'll feel even more invincible because I'm that much closer to the out, you know. It's like, so anyways, it's an interesting process to get older, to have your parents getting older, you know, like my friend just passed away, I said, and, you know, it was just interesting, you know, it makes you live more, actually, you know, like that's what me and my mom, we boiled it down to, is like, Mom, you know, like, what do you want to do? You know, how much time you got left? If you got 10 more years, great. If you got 5 more years, great. If you got 2 more years, great. You know, if you got 20 years, great. Whatever it is, like, let's live. And I said, you know, let's live ferociously, you know, like let's blaze, you know, let's trailblaze, and let's go where we need to go and do what we need to do. I don't know what that is, but let's do it.
I love that.
I
love seeing you guys having fun, like on the Instagram, ripping around, just charging and enjoying all of life. And I do got to ask, does the rooster have a name? Do we have a name for the rooster?
Well, the thing is there's like 100 roosters.
Okay.
But I did buy a mini rooster.
The thing is,
I did buy a mini rooster. There's
no way.
Yeah, he's really cool. I'll send you a picture of him. He's like this big, and he's really handsome. So he's like he's my mini cock, is what I call him.
You got to send us the picture so we can post it on the Instagram.
And so I bought one, and then he was just kind of hanging around my yard, and he was a little bit timid, you know. And I named him Chris after my dad. So I'd be like, Chris, come here. And but he was really handsome. But then but I realized that roosters don't just roost in the morning. Like that's a lie. They actually roost all the time. So then after like a couple weeks of this rooster in my, he was like, "Grr!" And he had a funny roost. He's like, "Grr!" And I'd be like, damn, man, like. So I brought him to the neighbor's house, and now he's got a bunch of hens, and he chills he like sits on the hens. The hens are all fat. He like sits on top of the hen because he's like a midget.
Dude, sounds like he is living a great life.
Dude, he's over there with all the hens henning it up, man. Yeah. It's
awesome. Well, shout out to Chris. Shout out to the whole squad over there. We actually have a bunch of people who are super excited that you're on the show right now, and we would love to ask you some questions from. Well, kind of. We have a chat room. We're not live to them. This will air tomorrow.
Okay.
But we have a chat room that knows that through our PTG World Discord, it's like the new era PT or Paintball Nation.
PB Nation.
You know, PB Nation.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like the new era PB Nation.
Yeah,
that we've revamped here.
Nice.
So we'd love to dive into some of these questions with you, if that'd be cool.
I'll try to be as concise and on point.
All right. Marchie, right. I don't know if you want to tackle one of these first ones.
Yeah, sure. All right. So from T Hodson 28, shout out to T Hodson. If you came back to the league but could not rejoin Dynasty or the Ironmen, which team would you join?
Oh, that's a great question.
Come on, baby.
I would probably go I'd probably go for a team that's really bad and see if I could really make them good. You know,
Latin Saints.
No, maybe not Latin Saints.
No, they said not the Ironmen. They said not the Ironmen.
That's cold-blooded, bro. Cold-blooded.
That's messed up. I like the Iron Man now. I'm a fan. They're actually going to be pretty damn good here pretty soon. They have some good young kids. I like what they're doing now.
So there's Heat, there's Impact, there's X Factor, Infamous. No, I don't know. Yeah, probably just one of these
Russians?
chill teams. No, not the Russians. You also gotta
I could see you on like a LVL, you know?
Yeah, I'd go
Columbus
to like one
LVL.
of the. I would, you know, for the
NRG.
sake of really testing myself, going to one of those teams. But then, of course, you know, because Tyler's on Heat, I'd probably go to Heat, you know. And then I never got to play with those two Russian dudes, so that could be cool.
Yeah,
definitely not Impact.
Maybe the heroines.
Definitely not Impact. Impact. I feel bad for
Dude,
Impact,
I love
man.
watching you from the Hormesis. Oliver, I love watching you from the Hormesis Instagram talk shit to people on social media, like impact all the nerds. You're like,
oh
nerds.
My God, dude. Goldman's the only cool guy on all of Impact. Kyle was cool. They almost were cool for like a minute there, and then they went to Saints, and then they got boom, back down to Nerdville. You know. Okay, next question.
Sheesh. Okay,
they play hard.
Right, yeah, next
They're a good team. All right, we got JF13. Oliver, some would consider you the Michael Jordan of paintball, the undisputed greatest of all time. Being humble, who would you say is the GOAT? Really the GOAT, like from past, present, or future? They want to have like your GOAT opinion on a player.
Well, you know, I would say Archie, because Archie, if you ask me, is the most well-rounded player that I've seen and most similar to me and my playing style. And he resurrected, I mean, he kept alive X Factor pretty much for, 20 years, you know, and kept them as a very competitive team. And, you know, he had his trials and errors and leaving and coming back and forth. And then, you know, I mean, he pretty much made JT cool. I mean, you know, JT like really came back when X Factor was rocking him, and then now he's on Dynasty, and now Dynasty is like, you know, on another frequency. So I think Archie, you know, and also Archie is also like, you know, he's expanded, you know, he's really gets it. He's really like solid, integrated individual, you know, like business minded, business oriented, you know, player focused, you know, spiritual, committed relationship, you know, like Archie's dominator, you know, and if you look at the whole thing, like the other GOATs, you know, they're just not as integrated as Archie is, you know, and I think that that's really what, you know, he's a type of quarterback that you could put on any team or even have as any type of friend in any time of your life, and you know, he's valuable, you know, so I think Archie.
Not a bad answer. Archie's I love being teammates with Archie. It's fantastic. He's definitely one of the greatest. I agree with you, Oliver. I agree with that. All right, we have Big Wolf D. He says, if you were starting a team and were tasked with one player to build around under 30, who would it be?
Under 30? How old's Dalton?
Yeah, that's what I told you he's older than me. He's 33, fool.
I thought you were 17, man.
33 is older than 17.
I just don't even know anybody under 30 anymore, you know? That's the evolution.
Brandon Cornell might be the only one you know under 30. Smotrov.
He was super fragile. I don't know. I don't know anybody under 30. I'm trying to think of who
Come
I
on,
watch.
Hormesis God, you gotta know this.
I'm trying to think of who
stuff.
I watch on the webcast that I like. I like that one kid, Thomas Kim, maybe.
Absolutely.
I think he's
35.
I think he's my age. I think he's 32 or something. Yeah. Because we had this question before, and I it's so funny. I said Thomas Kim, but I was like, oh shit, I think he's actually older than I thought.
Yeah, well,
and then we also said Smotrov.
We're also realizing that, you know, age is just really not even important in paintball. You know, I mean, we're realizing, you know, I mean, honestly, ways, Tyler, I bet you guys could be playing into your 50s if you want to. You know, I mean, that's if you want to. You know, if you take care of yourself. You know, Yeah, I mean, because also, like I said, the essence of this conversation is that there is something happening that's ahead of you that you don't know what is. It's going to be greater and better and bigger. Shall you choose to accept that mission or stay trying to win NXLs for 50 years?
Right.
So I don't
All right,
know. I give Thomas Kim, but I don't know how old he is.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm trying to see right here because I could have it.
He might be. He might be right there on the cusp. But we had another guest on, and another one under 30 is Leo Smotrov. I think he's in his mid-20s. He's getting after it these days. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, Smotrov would be good. He's young, super athletic.
I don't know who he is, though.
You got the age on that?
You don't know who Smotrov is from the Russians? Leo Smotrov?
Bro, the Russians are nerds too, man. I don't watch the Russian games.
No, he's a cool. Oh, Thomas Kim is 27. Boom, done.
Yeah, there you go. He hit it on the head. End
discussion. There we go. Just found his PB leagues. There we go. Thomas Kim, I'm with you on that. All right, next question.
All right, we got the one JT. Oliver, what would you say has helped you to get to the levels of spiritual knowledge that you have attained now?
I mean, there's a pretty bulky answer to that question, but I think if you really want to try to understand spirituality, you really have to disassociate yourself with everything that you know, look and see, and try to understand. And that's why traveling is so incredibly valuable for anybody. And that's like the quintessential hero's journey is to leave your home and go on the journey, and traveling can give that to you. And you got to realize that, like, even it's funny, like I thought I knew how to travel when I played paintball, and we'd go to like Paris for a weekend or go here for the weekend. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was able to tick those little, check those boxes off of my map and be like, yeah, okay, I did Argentina. Great. Don't have to do that again. But then once I retired from paintball, I realized that I didn't know anything about traveling, and that I was like such an amateur traveler, and that you have to get out there and you have to spend some time, and you have to get lost as fuck, and you have to have no baggage. Don't carry anything. Carry a small bag and have no place to go, nowhere to be, and just see where it takes you, see who you meet, see what you learn, see where you end up, And this is like essentially like the essence of the spiritual journey in a nutshell.
Fantastic.
Love that.
All right, we have P-Ball Wiz. What's your favorite marker you ever owned, whether the reason is performance or sentimental? What is it?
Favorite marker? Probably the Ego. I want one of those new Egos. Those ones look pretty nice. But I like the Ego. I like shooting the Ego. I like the way it's shot.
The new LV1?
Yeah.
You mean LV1? You didn't ever shoot an Ego.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's the same thing, no?
It is the same thing. Yeah.
But I think the Ego was like kind of ugly, so maybe not the Ego. And then there was the LV1. Yeah, you're right. It was
it was the cool version.
And then now there's probably like an LVG1 too.
Yeah. It's crazy. Where did they come up with these names?
Dude, they're
unbelievable.
Intelligent. They make it this big and they sell it for $1,000 10 years ago, and then they make it this big and then they sell it for $1,200 5 years ago, and then they make it this big. They sell it for $1,600 today.
These guys are geniuses, dude.
They make less of it and sell it for more, and change the name one decimal above. These guys are excellent businessmen.
I love it.
All right, this is a good one. The Fizz. What are some of your all-time favorite books?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, I think this book, the Shambhala book that we touched on earlier, I think that's a great read. I like this one author named Hazrat Inyat Khan, and he's got a book that's called The Mysticism of Sound and Music. And I think I've read that book maybe like 10 or 15 times. But as you see, I have a large book collection. And I, again, certain books will give you a certain thing, but actually one book that changed my life was The Alchemist, which is essentially another book that teaches you how to go travel and search. So that's a good book to read. So those are 3.
There's so
Nice.
many. I mean, the world is just packed with so much knowledge in these books.
Dude, and nobody reads anymore, man. It's like crazy.
Oh, I read.
We have so much knowledge at our fingertips. Like, you have no excuse to be a dummy. And
when I want to learn about something, fuck Google.
Dude.
Go to Amazon. You just get books.
Totally.
I literally just picked these up. It's about
You're smart,
tax strategies and BS, whatever. But like whatever it is, read.
Yeah, I need to.
I had this argument.
I need to hold a book when I can't read it on a thing.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, this is a copy of a book, and then I annotate it. And
no
write
Kindle, no audio book. I get in arguments. People hit me up and like, oh, you're gonna do an audio book of Paintball IQ, and I'm like, no, I actually refuse to. I know there's money being left on the table there, but I believe in the power of learning through reading.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's what I wanted my book to be. That's that's what it's meant to be. It's what it's designed for. So no, I'm not going to do an audio book. I know people would buy it. A lot of people have hit me up about it. I'm like, I don't want that. So sorry, if you don't want to read Paintball IQ, all good. I think there's something that it does with the brain. It's important to read.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it is good to still listen, but because but I've listened to thousands of hours of books, and I can tell you I haven't really retained much of them. But when I read a book, I retain a lot more.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. All right, Brian Catania. Shout out to Brian. Brian's awesome. He is out in the Northeast area. Brian Catania says, Oliver, a bit of a hot seat question, so I apologize. But rather than ask you about the golden moments of your career that helped forge your legacy into what it is, I'd rather ask about the darker moments of your career. What were some of these darker moments in your career? What were some of the mistakes you made that led to these moments? How did you learn from these mistakes, and how do these mistakes help shape and define your career legacy?
Nice. That's a cool way of asking it. I mean, I don't really have dark moments. I hate to say and sound like I live in a picturesque world, but I emanate a strong ray of positivity, and I never really had dark moments, or I never really had difficulties. I mean, definitely difficulty in terms of like the way you process a situation. Like when I left Dynasty to go to the Ironman, that was like that forged me, and that was like one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Still to this day, look at 10 of my brothers in the eye, and I chose to do it this way because I knew that I had to be brave enough if I was going to leave this my gang essentially and go to another gang. I couldn't just send them a text message and be like, okay, like a chicken shit. I was going to be like a real blood and real Crip and say, look, I'm going to the other side. I hope you support me, and I hope you look at me as, understand this from my point of view and why I'm doing this, and I'm looking at you in the eye while I'm doing this. I'm not, way over here in the distance, like, hey man, I'm quitting the team. So I don't know if that's a dark moment, but that's definitely one of these moments that forged me and was incredibly difficult and projected me into, newer heights of myself, being under that immense amount of pressure. I don't know if anybody's ever have to do that, but I pretty much had to break up with like 12 girlfriends at once, all at the same time looking at me. And then I had to go play, and then I had to go be with another girlfriend in front of them that day, So it was like immense, it was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. But that forged me, and that, like I said, that made me much more resilient and much stronger in the coming days. And I'm incredibly versatile and bulletproof at this moment. Like, like I have no problem telling you, or I have no problem getting told by you the truth, because I'd rather have that than this wishy-washy bullshit, dance around the nonsense and not really be clear with each other. Like, let's just be direct and get it on with, and, so to say, rip the Band-Aid off, and let's be real. I like that. So that taught me how to do that, and then also in that process, there's a karmic wave that kind of comes through, and Alex and I that was probably the hardest thing. Was there was maybe like 2 or 3 years where I didn't talk to Alex at all. And that was like really hard on me. I'd have dreams of like hanging out with him, and like I'd wake up crying, like thinking that I was hanging out with him in my dream, and then we weren't. And then, I really hurt him, but I didn't, I didn't really hurt him. He took it that way, and now he sees that was, what I needed to do. And now Alex is probably one of the strongest men in that sense, like when Kyle left, he's like, yeah, he left. He'll probably be back and we'll probably take him back, exactly what, and he gets it,
Exactly what
he's
happened.
a joker,
Yeah.
he's, Alex has a heyoka spirit that's like really understands the nonsense and, sure, he's human and sensitive,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Yeah.
he's able.
What does that mean? Heyoka spirit.
The heyoka is like he's actually the holiest out of the indigenous tribe, but he's kind of the outcast and he's kind of the joker and he's kind of like, he's the man on the fringe. But like when you got like royalty and chief and medicine man and all these different things that are like, big archetypes in the construct, the heyoka can come in and kind of do a dance and do a joke and shine light on the ignorance or shine light on the stupidity. He's pretty much a sacred joker is what he is, So, and like they have the same thing as a jester. Jester is essentially a heyoka.
Yeah.
He's a super evolved spiritual teacher. And he comes in and he kind of jabs at the king and like tells the king like, hey, like you're pretty big headed right now, but he does it in such a way that the king gets it and it comes back down and can rule and govern the kingdom well. But the heyoka is like a Native American term.
Yeah.
We've all got a little heyoka in us, I know I do. I know
the jokester.
The jokester. And the jokesters shouldn't come in and like jab at you negatively and, make fun of you. But the jokester should come in to be able to shine some light on the things that you can't see really quickly in a funny way so that you laugh at it. And then actually,
And you can grow.
he's actually telling me something there,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, we got Osborne for this. He's wondering, Oliver,
Good,
share one embarrassing story about Tyler and Marcelo.
Fuck. Well, damn.
I mean, what's really embarrassing, I'm pretty like transparent, so like things don't really, I don't know. Are you embarrassed? I don't know, like I guess would be embarrassing for you guys.
That's what he's saying. Yeah. Something embarrassing that happened to us.
Oh man, too many ones. I do remember like having straight piss wars with you, Marcelo, like throwing like someone like we would like pee in these cups and like throw them on you. Or I know we did it. I know we did it to Paxton and me and Nikki, and I think you were involved in that one time. And we'd have the sprinkler. So Marcelo got peed on or got splashed with pee at one point, but I don't think that's that embarrassing. I think that's like a par for the course as a 20-year-old idiot.
I have zero recollection of it. So I blacked it out of my mind.
Yeah, you probably pushed that one into the closet. Yeah. Man, Tyler, what was embarrassing for you, man? I don't know. I don't think you were ever
probably
really...
like breaking my hand while being a part of Dynasty. Like we were all young and wild, and we would go out like on the weekends. And
that's
and then
right. When you fought that guy and you broke your hand, yeah, that was pretty embarrassing.
Well, it was more like 5 guys. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was this moment too where you just got on the team and you're kind of like trying to make a name for yourself, and then you're like, but then you were kind of fighting for the team guys, I guess, like you and Dalton and Kyle.
That's right.
Like kind of
I was saving him.
There was like a little bit of like bonding there, but then the rest of us were like, this guy's an idiot, like what's he doing? Yeah, that's probably the most embarrassing for you.
Yeah, I felt super embarrassed.
But again,
but it was crazy.
Come on, it's not really embarrassing. It's all trials and tribulations and par for the course of growth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes.
Anytime
Absolutely.
you get a bunch of guys together, especially if we're immature,
and PB.
we're going to be doing dumb shit, and that's why you need that wise elder, and hopefully you have that element of your
mm-hmm.
dynamic. But I don't know. Our wise elders were kind of bad influences on us also. So that's why I'd like to be a wise elder, I never really had a wise elder, I did kind of, but not really, they were like teaching me how to like get chicks,
Yeah. Mischief.
That's wise.
It was wise for
Necessary.
the time and a
Yeah,
great lesson
to-
for the moment. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Mhm. Well, dude, we love you with all our heart. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And,
Yes.
you know, on behalf of the whole paintball community, thank you for what you're doing in the space. And we can't wait to watch you continue to mature and grow and develop and be creative. So, brother, we hope you continue to have a great week. And shout out to Chris. Hope he's living large over in the hen house. And we want you guys to have a great one over there.
No, you guys are rock, bro. I mean, I got to go because I got to pee so bad, but I wish I could just stay on here forever and talk to you guys about all this. But look, you know,
Me
again,
Let's have Wizard Wednesdays with Oliver, dude. You wake
Yeah.
up in the morning or night, whenever. Let's fucking hang out with you on a regular basis, dude.
well,
This is fantastic.
you know, I think when we keep moving into these next unfoldings of paintball, we're going to have to be spending more time together, you know, whatever that looks like.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And also just know, guys, I have so much support for you. If you guys need anything, whatever it is, either it's Oliver related, Hormesis related, whatever it is, don't hesitate to ask, you know, and keep doing what you're doing out there, and like, you know, keep getting intimate with the community and seeing what they want. And, you know, it was really nice to even just answer those questions for those few brothers. And thank you guys for asking those questions out there. And keep supporting this channel in any which way, shape, and form. I mean, I know even when I watch Ryan's show, I'll throw like a $20 at it, you know, just because it's like, you know, they ask for a donation, and it's like, you know, it costs money to get this thing going. It takes time out of your lives. You know, you guys have family and friends and other things you need to be doing. So, you know, you guys need to be supported and compensated. And again, it's a giving cycle. You know, the more you give, the more you get. You know, the more you can do for the community, the more the community can do for you. And it's just, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And I think that, man, we're moving into total inclusivity, you know, and it's been competitive, and there's been, you know, a slight, you know, me against you in the past. And I feel like I'm really going towards, you know, full unity and inclusivity and community. And I don't know how that's going to look and what that's going to be like, but man, you guys are all involved and you're all invited, and I'm fucking so stoked for it.
Yeah, baby. All love for paintball. Always, man. This whole entire world.
All right, gentlemen,
sir.
I love you
brother.
guys.
Oliver, thank you so much.
Love you
dude.
too.
Yes,
Have a
of
great
course.
day.
Peace.
Talk to you soon,
Peace.
brother.
Peace, wholeness, vibrations.
Peace.
How do I get out?
All right, PTG fam, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate your support. We hope you loved that episode. If you did, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link, and become a supporter. We really, really appreciate it. It inspires us to continue to do these shows, bring them to you week after week, day after day. And, you know, if you do join, you get access to the Discord. The Discord is amazing. We have so much going on in there. It's a really great community that we're building. And, again, it really just shows your support for the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Also, on the website, we have all of our stuff. We have all of the video, all of the audio. So you can watch all of our shows there. You can listen to all the shows there. We have the merch store. We got all that going on. And if you want to contact us, it's all there. All right, everybody. Again, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you more than you know. And we love the community that we're building. And we're so thankful that you guys are all part of it. All right. As always, we'll see you very soon.